Live from Cotuit on the Birds Broadcast Network, the Firebirds are back, winners of 4 of 5, and back on the road again at Lowell Park against the Cotuit Kettleers. Dylan Pescatore, Ian Nicholas on the call as usual every single game on the Birds Broadcast Network. First pitch at 5 p.m. tonight. We start our Scorching Start pregame show presented by Siemens Bank, and Ian, it was a win for the ages last night.
It was certainly a game that people won't forget for a while. From Red Wilson Field, there was a drone delay, there was so much fog, an extra innings thriller where the offense came alive when it needed to, and the pitching, 7 different pitchers from Kelly Nicholson got it done at a lot of different stages. It was a fun one, and one that Orleans needed, especially after a really tight loss to Harwich a couple days before. You challenged one of the top teams in the East, couldn't get it done against the Mariners, but then you go, as I said in our pregame show, into the belly of the beast of Scott Pickler and YD's bunch, which looked unflappable, 3 wins in a row, and you take them down convincingly. Now you're going to try to do the same thing tonight against a Cotuit team that still stands at the top of the West Division standings, even after losing 3 of its last 4.
Yes, and the Firebirds will look to make it 4 of their last 5 losses as they head and play here at Cotuit at 5 o'clock. We're going to have to sideline Sammy now, who is with and talks about last night's big win for the Firebirds.
Thanks, Dylan. Anytime a game goes to extra innings, it showcases the grit and resilience of the two teams, especially coupled with the fact that the Firebirds and Red Sox were battling through the fog and creeping darkness coming in. At the end of the day, Orleans pulled through and showed that they were the more resilient team, and that's not something that gets turned on or off. It's something that's built in practice, the discipline and stamina to keep pushing and never give up. I spoke to Kelly Nicholson after the game, and he said he loved how his guys responded when faced with adversity and how proud he is of his high-character group that continues to show a lot of fight. He had full faith that they will continue to fight through the ups and downs that the season will bring. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Sammy. It was the second comeback win for the Firebirds this season. Their first was last week on Tuesday at Falmouth at Gov Fuller Field. They came back from 3-2 down after 6 and won the game 5-4, which was the final last night, Ian. And talk about resiliency. They got punched in the mouth in the bottom of the 7th, allowing a 3-run go-ahead home run to Hunter Hines. The next half inning, bang, tie game.
Yes, Jack Penny with his first home run in Orleans, but he did have double-digit home runs during his freshman season at Notre Dame. Sophomore year kind of derailed slightly because of a midseason injury. But Jack Penny's got a lot of really good qualities at the plate. He's patient. He works good counts. He's got on base with some walks throughout the course of the season. But in a hitter-friendly ballpark last night at Red Wilson Field, he showed that with 2 outs, he was just coming up to the plate, trying to make contact. It's funny, after the game, I think he might have slipped up a little bit. He said, I wasn't trying to hit the ball. I think what he meant to say is, I wasn't trying to just swing for the fences and go deep, but that's the nature of that field. If you put a good hack on it, there's a decent shot it's getting out of there. But not only was he able to tie the game, but then Orleans, with an extra base runner at the top of the 10th, was able to drive a run home, and then Sean Matson, with the final 5 outs of the game, got it done in both the 9th and 10th frames. And resilient group, as we've mentioned so far on Scorching Start, got it done.
There's been a lot of wins in the final innings for the Firebirds where things get stressful. Things start to slip away, and then they grab back and they take it. Talk about the Falmouth win. Like you said, Matson closed that one out. Brewster win the next day. Once again, Matson closed that one out, and then last night, Sean Matson made it 3. 2 saves this week, 1 win, which he got last night since he pitched in the 9th inning as well and then pitched in the 10th. And it's a little bit of a different animal, Ian, because he had to pitch with a runner already on second base because it was the 10th inning.
He did, and it didn't even matter, which was the crazy part, because he is just pitching super loose right now with a lot of energy, a lot of emotion out there on the mound, and just relying on his stuff and pounding the zone. And it's fun to watch. It's not only fun to watch because he's really good at what he does, but Kelly Nicholson's just letting him be him. In a situation last night with that extra guy on second base to start the inning, and Hunter Hines coming up to the plate. Hines, one of the best sophomores, one of the best players in the country, period, out of Mississippi State, had already driven in 4 runs off 2 home runs in that game. And instead of intentionally walking him, Kelly Nicholson says, do you? And Matson strikes him out, strikes out the side in the 10th inning, and just made it look far too easy. And for a guy coming out of Harvard, not necessarily a baseball powerhouse, he's competing with the best of the best, just like Chris Clark did all last summer for this Orleans team.
Yes, Mattson, who has kind of been that closer role, and another guy in the bullpen who's pitched a lot of big innings has been Connor Eaton. He came in last night from the left side. He's throwing 94, 95, and before we get to him, we're going to head to the national anthem. We'll be right back on the Birds Broadcast Network.
Thanks, Tyler.
Back here on the Birds Broadcast Network, anthem done. A bit of our pregame show done, but not yet. We're about 10 minutes away from first pitch here from Lowell Park in Cotuit. And Ian, there's a new addition to the Orleans lineup that's filled with, of course, their 9 that hasn't played since last Tuesday.
Yes, it's Matt Hallback. He's been a little dinged up, but he is feeling good enough to go out there and DH tonight, batting 6th in this order, and he's going to bring a lot of juice, I believe, to the middle of the order for Kelly Nicholson. He has done a little bit, for sure, in the 3 games that he's played here in Orleans. 2 for 9 from the plate, already driven in 2 runs, so he's come up with guys on and converted. You know, unfortunately, his first game with the team, he was hit by pitch in each of his first 3 at-bats with Orleans, so he was kind of slowed down by that, but ultimately really excited to see what he does in this game. He was an all-Big West first-team selection in the spring with a UC San Diego team that won the Big West and should have made it to the NCAA tournament if it wasn't for the 4-year you can't make the NCAA tournament reclassification period handed out by the NCAA. But one guy who did make the NCAA tournament is Connor Eaton and George Mason. Eaton, one of the 7 pitchers that was used last night by Kelly Nicholson, and he was catching up with Dylan Pescatore, talking about that wild game in the fog and a little bit more here on the Scorching Start.
Thank you, Ian. Dylan Pescatore here with Connor Eaton. Connor, you were one of 7 pitchers to come out of the bullpen yesterday, and it was almost like a rotation. How did everyone kind of do their job and come in different situations?
I mean, honestly, I think it was more like a matchup thing yesterday. I think a lot of lefties came in throughout the order. We were kind of talking about it throughout the game. And Cookie kind of he told us like left on left matchups, and I had like 3 batters coming up, and we were actually down. I wasn't planning on pitching, and then one of our guys hit a go-ahead home run and tied the game up, so that was pretty sweet. And then I was actually sitting on the bench, and Cookie told me to get hot, and I had 2 pull-down pitches and like 3 warm-ups, and I was in the game. So it kind of threw me off guard, but I went out there and tried to do my best for the team, and just my defense did a good job yesterday, and that was pretty much all.
It seems like as the season has gone on, you've gotten better. You've had to control that fastball a little bit more, outside the lefties and inside the righties. What did you see on that yesterday, too?
Jim has been doing a great job with us, just kind of like, because obviously like my stuff is there. It's just kind of about like commanding my stuff and like making it to where like if I miss small, to where like it's almost a strike and it's right around the zone. So as long as I'm staying around the zone, I feel pretty confident in myself and how it's going to play.
It seems like you were right around the zone, maybe getting the call on the outside here and there. But this is a new pitching coach, Jim Lowell. I don't think you've met the guy before 2 weeks ago or whenever you came. How is it getting coached by guys that you've never met before, and now they have to tell you, what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong?
I mean, back at school, we have another pitching coach, Ryan Ritchie, who does a great job with me. And then coming in here, Jim, he's just kind of like more of an old school guy, and he kind of gets some of like some different things, so you get like some new eyes on you, and I think that can actually be good for you, just to get like some new ideas, maybe some new tactics that maybe didn't work in the springtime, and you can kind of transfer to the summer.
Yesterday was the second comeback win for the Firebirds. Other than that was Falmouth. And Jack Penny's home run, kind of the 7th inning home run by Hines, the 3-run home run to put you guys down, kind of felt like it kind of took your heart out of it. Yeah. Penny put it right back in. How was the dugout in the bullpen, because you were down there, felt when that home run went on the fence?
We were going crazy, man. It was awesome just to get back into the game right there and tie it up. I know that unfortunately, they hit a 3-run home run in the last inning. So definitely coming back right there and getting on top and making a 0-0 game. I mean, that was definitely huge for us to come back in the game and give me an opportunity to go on the mound and do my job.
It felt like yesterday's game was really emotional between both sides. You had the fog, you had extra innings, everything encapsulated into it. How do you take those emotions from yesterday and move into a game today against Cotuit, the top team in the West?
I mean, definitely coming off a 10-inning win game yesterday, it definitely kind of brought us some momentum to keep going. We had a win streak for a while, and then we lost a 2-1 ball game, but then we came back yesterday, and it definitely gave us a little bit more momentum to continue on to the next games.
And then last question here, Connor. The pitching staff has really always been there this season, and then the hitting has started to kind of get going. How close do you think this team is at firing on all cylinders?
Oh, my gosh. There's no telling. I mean, these guys are all around the country. I mean, these are the best of the best guys. So, I mean, if we can collectively put everything together as a team and a whole, I mean, we're going to be just fine.
Awesome. Back to you, Ian.
Connor Eaton getting better and better with each appearance out of a bullpen for Kelly Nicholson. Dylan just caught up with him on the scorching start, brought to you by Siemens Bank. Just about 4 minutes from first pitch from Lowell Park. How about we go through the lineup, starting with Orleans, who is batting first on the road here in Cotuit. Joe Oyama leads off. The UC Irvine man plays second tonight. Fenwick Trimble batting second, playing right out of James Madison. Eddie Micheletti batting third out of George Washington. He's in left field. Andy Blake, once again, hitting cleanup and playing short, transferring to Duke. Jack Penny batting fifth out of Notre Dame. He is on the hot corner at third. Matt Hallback, as Dylan mentioned earlier, in the lineup tonight from UC San Diego, DHing, batting sixth. Eddie King Jr. batting seventh. The center fielder out of Louisville, Johnny Olmstead, batting eighth, the first baseman from USC. And rounding out the order at Alabama Birmingham, behind the dish, Henry Hunter and Dylan on the mound. Another Dylan Jacobs, variety from Stetson, makes his third start of the song.
Yes, last time out, it was 6 days ago against Falmouth. Jacobs was good. Jacobs has been great. He's been a really consistent guy that you can send out to the mound, expect 4 to 5 innings of 1 to 2 run ball, and he's going to give it to you. So far in the year, 8 and 2 2/3 innings, 3 runs, 7 hits, 3 walks, and 8 Ks. A stat that I saw, Ian, this year and today was actually that the Firebirds pitching staff is tied for first in the least amount of walks issued. And I think that's been a huge impact to them winning games.
Only 45 walks handed out by the Orleans pitching staff through 13 games. Do that math. That's under 3 a game for Kelly Nicholson and Jim Lawler's pitching staff. And the pitchers today for Orleans face a lineup from Coach Mike Roberts. That includes Brett Bateman leading off from Minnesota. He's in center field. Kalai Harrison from NC State at short, batting second. Cannon Peebles, he's batting third. Another NC State Wolf Pack, and Peebles, he is doing the DHing. Batting fourth is Jacob Tobias from Arizona State. Dylan, you might know him a little bit. The Sun Devil, just a little bit. He's playing over at first base. Caleb Lomavita from Cal Berkeley, batting fifth. He's behind the dish for second-year Kettleer. Emilian Petre from Kentucky, he is at second base, batting sixth. Ryan Waldschmidt, another Wildcat, is in left, batting seventh. T.O. Banks from Tulane is in right, batting eighth. Josh Pine from Indiana, batting ninth. At third, and on the mound, Cam Hill, the lefty from Georgia Tech, making his first start for the Kettleers.
Cam Hill is a tall man coming from the left side, wearing number 44 in the pinstripe white jerseys for Cotuit. That reads, of course, Cotuit over their chest in navy blue. Joe Oyama, the first batter for the Firebirds here on Monday night. Here comes the first pitch from Hill. It's high with his fastball that runs up to 96, 97 for miles per hour, of course.
He's got great stuff, and he's got 15 strikeouts in under 9 innings pitched this year.
The 1-0 to Oyama, the slider that goes low. Cam Hill has been not only outstanding this summer, but outstanding last summer. 2022 NECBL Reliever of the Year, the Joe Nathan Award, as he won not only that award, but also won the championship. The 2-0 is popped foul left side out of play by Oyama on a fastball that got up to 91, according to the video board, a new one here at Lowell Park in Cotuit.
It's a beautiful one in left field. Last summer, Hill was teammates with Dylan Jacobs.
2-1 is high, 3-1 for Oyama. 2+ hits, multiple hits in the last 3 games, and also has a triple in each of the last 3, showing off his speed and putting the ball into gaps. Here comes the 3-1. It's a strike on the outside corner with the fastball.
But as I was mentioning, Cam Hill was unbelievable in the NECBL last summer with the Martha's Vineyards Sharks of the NECBL. One of his teammates, Dylan Jacobs, starting for Orleans tonight.
Just a little bit of connection. 3-2, Oyama chases the high fastball. Hill continues his dominance with a strikeout to start the top of the first.
Not an easy guy to retire. Oyama reached base in all 5 of his plate appearances last night against YD. Only his 7th strikeout in now 10 games here in Orleans.
He has great back-to-ball skills, but when 95's at the top of the zone, it's hard to hit. First pitch to Fenwick Trimble is off speed for a strike. Trimble got beat up yesterday. Says he's all right now, but fouled the ball off his knee and shin of his front leg, which is his left leg as a righty. The 0-1 doesn't chase the ball high. Says he's all right today, but it happened twice, once in the 7th and then once in the 9th.
Yeah, you wonder if that affected him throughout the course of a game. An 0-for-5 performance after a really hot streak for Fenwick trying to bounce back tonight.
1-1, swing and miss at the curveball. But then he had to be the runner, the automatic runner in the 10th inning, and made his way to third and then eventually home and had to slide. Jack Penny's grounded to first, forced Trimble to slide. He slid in safely, and that was the 5th and the game-winning run for the Firebirds last night. 2-1, Trimble fouls it to the backstop, which once again, it's a little bit more narrow here than Red Wilson Field yesterday in Yarmouth, but it's still very deep.
They don't make it easy here on the Cape. Really great ballpark, though, Lowell Park. One of the best we've seen so far in this young season.
2-2 the count with 1 out to Trimble, who fouls another one back, just got a piece of the off-speed pitch.
And it's funny, tonight's atmosphere kind of reminiscent to yesterday's. It's a little foggy. Not as foggy as it was towards the late stages when it got in the extras, but a bit muggy out here.
Hill gets his sign. Do the 2-2 again to Trimble, who swings and misses. Another fastball at the top of the zone and another strikeout for Cam Hill.
Going down via the K has been a bit of an issue for Fenwick so far this summer. 14 strikeouts now on the season through 12 games. He has been battling in at-bats, but the high fastball gets him the swing and miss there.
He'll face the lefty, Eddie Micheletti. Doesn't chase the slider low. Hill out of Georgia Tech, and both of his years at Georgia Tech, the numbers haven't been pretty. An ERA above 8 for both. However, in the summer, he's as dominant as can be.
Well, that's the beauty of pitching against metal bats compared to pitching against wood bats. You're always going to have the advantage of the pitcher in summer ball with that aspect of the game. But he got a little bit unlucky, it would seem, in college.
1-1 to Micheletti, who pulls it down the first base line. Fielded by Tobias, who flips to Hill for the out. A 1-2-3 inning for Hill, including 2 strikeouts of Oyama and Trimble. We'll go to the bottom of the first on the Birds Broadcast Network. It's Cotuit's turn to bat. Dylan Jacobs takes the ball for the Firebirds here on Monday at Cotuit. Last start against Falmouth, once again, good. 4+ innings, 2 runs allowed, and only 2 walks. Jacobs on the mound again at Cotuit, at Lowell Park. And Ian, who is in the defense behind him?
Jacobs on the bump, like you said. Henry Hunter doing the catching at a UAB. Johnny Olmstead at first at a USC. Joe Oyama at second. The UC Irvine man, Jack Penny. And a Notre Dame at third. Andy Blake transferring to Duke at short. Eddie Micheletti Jr. in left. A George Washington man currently in the portal. Eddie King Jr. in center, the Louisville Star. Fenwick Trimble in right by way of James Madison.
That's the defense behind Jacobs for Cotuit and their lineup, who has kind of hit a wall in a little bit of ways, losing 3 of their last 4, and offense has been tough to come by. And a lot of their pitching has struggled, other than, of course, Cam Hill. But they're looking to get back on track today. They've lost 3 of their last 4, including a 13-1 drubbing last night against Bourne.
Last night was a tough one, something that you're going to flush. But things have been on the downward trend for this team ever since that late collapse at Hyannis on the 22nd when the Harbor Hawks pulled off a stunning 9th-inning rally to win 7-6.
First batter for Cotuit is Brett Bateman, hitting .500 on the year, and not a small sample size either. It includes a 12-game hit streak that is still active. He's had hits in all but one of his games so far this season. Jacobs starts him out with a fastball for a strike. The 0-1, another fastball, and another strike.
21 for 42 on the year. The Minnesota Golden Gophers been fantastic. 2 for 4 with a walk and a stolen base the first time these two teams met up. And 13 RBIs. That's tied for second league-wide.
0-2 from Jacobs, a little bit low. And we've seen Jacobs twice this year, and when things are going, it's not only the fastball that's working, but it's the off-speed. It's the slider and the changeup.
I mean, obviously that fastball is the highlight at 97 miles an hour, but he's a 4-pitch guy, and the off-speed is his put-away pitch.
1-2, fastball slapped the other way, foul. You can tell just how Bateman works and structures himself in the box. Not an easy strikeout. Similar to Will King yesterday for YD.
Will King, what he can do not only behind the dish defensively, but from the plate is spectacular. Bateman puts the ball in play often, has good power too.
1-2 from Jacobs is a curveball that he didn't finish with, stayed up.
I mean, he also has 4 doubles. This is not a guy who's just hitting the ball softly and finding gaps. 4 doubles, that's tied for third league-wide.
Power, contact, does it all. To the 2-2, and he smacks one into center. Back goes King. He's going to have room as he tracks toward the fence and makes the catch.
If we were at Red Wilson Field, maybe that's gone. But tonight, from Lowell Park, 399 in center and both 320 in the left and right corners of the outfield.
I think I'm still in Red Wilson Field mode right here.
Yeah.
I heard that crack of the bat, and it gave me flashbacks to yesterday, where every fly ball seemed like he was getting out.
Yeah.
King with good speed in center, found it in left center field, and made the catch in front of the scoreboard here at Lowell Park. Khalil Harrison is the second batter for the Kettleers and takes a Fastball low at 93 from Jacobs for ball 1.
First time Orleans has seen Harrison. He's played in 6 games now for the Cats. He's hitting .364.
1-0, and that average is going to keep climbing. A single into left field as he goes the other way. Fielded by Micheletti and tossed back in. First hit of the day for either team is by Harrison with a single here in the first.
Obviously, the offense slowed to a halt last night against a Bourne team that's finding its stride. Just 1 run for Cotuit, but Harrison was one of its most consistent bats before last night. He had a 5-game hit streak in his first 5 games on the Cape before 0 for 2, 2 strikeouts yesterday.
Maybe that hit starts another streak. Cannon Peebles is the third hitter out of NC State as the DHing tonight. First pitch running. It's popped up into center. Now shallow left. Eddie Micheletti and Andy Blake come together. Micheletti drops the ball. He throws to second in time. A little bit lucky for the Firebirds as caught in between first and second was Harrison. The ball was hit into no man's land and it ends up being a fielder's choice either way. The Firebirds get the out.
That was an interesting one. Both Blake from short and Micheletti and left gave it chase, and luckily no scary collision between those two as Blake kind of hit the deck and made sure not to collide with the big George Washington left fielder. You do catch a big break there.
Jacob Tobias up with 2 outs, and the man on first is Peebles. When's the last time you saw a 7-4 putout at second base?
Yeah, I don't know.
So 2 hits for Cotuit. That one didn't touch any gloves, and also ruled an error. So they're gonna have to
taken off the board.
Yep. So it's gonna be a 2 hits. I was wondering, was it a hit or an error? First pitch is a strike to Tobias, the lefty out of Arizona State. Has big power on him. Hit over .320 this year as a Sun Devil. So far, a struggling start in Cotuit. 3 for 18. No homers just yet. He faces Jacobs with 2 outs in the bottom of the first. Swing and miss by Tobias as Jacobs slowed it down on him.
Dylan, you go to Arizona State. Does he do any pitching?
No pitching, Ian, unless it's one of those games where we're down 20-0. But I know he did some last night.
He did. Pitched 3 innings towards the tail end of last night's loss to Bourne. And unfortunately, after retiring the first 3 Bravos, gave up 4 earned off 6 hits. Very good from the plate, though.
Oh, very good. He definitely wants to stick to being in the box. It's one of those position player pitching moments. 0-2 count. Before we get there, a check over on Peebles. Jacobs looking to work through a uncommon, I'd say, first inning. Started with a fly out to center. A single by Harrison, then a 7-4 fielder's choice put out. That went off the glove of Micheletti. Threw to Oyama. Ground ball, first base line. It'll go foul. A little chopper. That's picked up right smack in the middle between home and first by Henry Hunter. So we stay at 0-2 with 2 outs and the man on first in Peebles.
Jacobs, he's been great through his 2 starts here on the Cape. He's given up 2 earned runs or less in both of his starts, which have both gone at least 4 innings.
Jacobs gets the sign, takes a look at Peebles, now fires the 0-2, doesn't get the call. He was jogging off the mound, and so was Blake from his position at short. A curveball that just went a little bit too far inside, according to home plate umpire Jeff Merzel. 1-2 to the lefty, Tobias. Wearing 18. Chopper to second. Going to be a tough play for Oyama, who flips to Blake at second for the out. A force out at second. Oyama to Blake. And Jacobs gets through the first inning cleanly. We'll go to the second. Still scoreless here in Cotuit between the Firebirds and the Kettleers. 0-0 on the Birds Broadcast Network. Back on the Birds Broadcast Network, we're scoreless going to the top of the second. Cotuit records a hit in the bottom of the first. Orleans still looking for their first knock against Cam Hill, who went through the first with no trouble. 2 strikeouts and a ground out by Eddie Micheletti. He will face Andy Blake, Jack Penny, and Matt Hallback in his return to the lineup in the second.
Andy Blake, another good night against YD last night. 2 hits against the Red Sox. Now 3 of his last 4 for the New Jersey native have ended with multiple hits. Top 5 in the league in batting average over the last week. He belongs right in the heart of this order. Just a guy who hits a lot of line drives to the outfield.
When he's doing his best, he's going up the middle, and now the shortstop and second baseman for Cotuit and Harrison and Peartree are closer to second. Blake fouls back the first pitch fastball at the top of the zone from Hill, who starts his second inning of work. He's been dominant all season long for Cotuit. 8 2/3 of 3-hit baseball. The 0-1 to Blake, pops it up, foul, third base line out of play.
Although Hill's probably going to come out and dominate through his first few innings, just given his overall body of work in the last 2 summers, do not expect him to stay out here too long. He's only made 6 starts in 2 years.
0-2, Blake reaches out and pokes it to second. Going to be a close play and a tough play for Peartree. Throws to first in time for the out.
Only made 6 starts in 2 years at Georgia Tech. But maybe he's going to prove this summer he can go a little longer, give you a little length, and with great size and great stuff, potentially take his game to another level with the Yellow Jackets. Great way to get things started. 4 up, 4 down, 2 strikeouts, 2 groundouts. Doesn't get much better than that for Cam Hill.
In a bullpen game where outs are valued so high, he's being efficient as well. That was pitch number 19, a ball to Jack Penny. He hits 5th in this order and earned the player of the game helmet yesterday as he takes a strike off speed. A game-tying home run in the 8th inning to make it 4-4. And then to go ahead, a fielder's choice where he hit it to first base. The 1-1, grounds it to second on a line. Peartree to first for the out. Penny grounded to first base. The throw was up the line, and Fenwick Trimble scored the go-ahead run, which ended up being the game-winning run. Quickly 2 outs on 2 ground balls to second base for the Firebirds here in the second. Matt Hallback will be the batter and hasn't played since Falmouth last Tuesday. Is back. He's been barking a little bit. Takes a first pitch ball high.
Yeah, it's been tough sledding so far for Hallback here on the Cape. Not necessarily because of how he's played. He's been good with 2 runs driven in 3 games, but just some bumps and bruises.
1-0. Hallback is a strike off speed. The curveball gets all the way down to 78 miles per hour. He really slows it down after a firm fastball. 1-2 from Hill. High fastball swing and a miss up to 95 now. Hallback couldn't catch up.
When you're a reliever, you usually have 2 great pitches. You got to have that fastball and an off-speed offering that drastically drops compared to that 4-seamer he probably throws.
1-2. Hallback fouls at first base side out of play into the forest behind the field here at Lowell Park. Like Ian said earlier, definitely a top 3 park of what we've seen so far in the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Still got Harwich at number 1 right now for road stadiums, just because
1-2 is inside for a ball.
When we went there on Friday, unfortunately in Orleans lost, but it was like the first real day of summer. It just hit me. I'm like, this is Cape League baseball. Tonight, not a great atmosphere, still a great park and a good crowd.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs to Hallback. Did he check his swing? He did on a ball that was in the dirt. Runs the count full. First time the Firebirds have run it full tonight. Hallback in the right-handed batter's box. Here's the full count pitch. Line drive to third. Caught on a hop by Pine. Throw over to first in time. Hard contact by Hallback, but not in the right place. Another 1-2-3 inning for the Firebirds. Cam Hill walks off the mound successful once again. We'll go to the bottom of the second. Still scoreless here on the Birds Broadcast Network. Back on the Birds Broadcast Network. Bottom of the second, 0-0 game from Lowell Park here in Cotuit. First time that the Firebirds have traveled to Cotuit this summer. They'll have one more trip in them later in the year. Dylan Jacobs back out for another inning of work, and he will face the 5-hitter in Caleb Lomotiva. Fouls off the first pitch. Right field side out of play.
Lomovita in his second summer here with Cotuit, an all-star last year.
0-1 inside.
And he's continuing to produce this summer. 5 games in, hitting just under 317 at-bats with a homer and 3 runs driven in.
The 1-1 is a little bit low. Lomotiva going all out with the maroon arm sleeve and the maroon high socks paired by the white pinstripe jersey. Fouls one back out of play. 2-2. Jacobs got that one up to 93.
He has the ability to get it into the mid to high 90s. A former top 250 overall prospect coming out of high school 2 years ago. You got to throw hard to earn that ranking.
2-2. Jacobs got him swinging. Fouled into the mitt. First strikeout on the night for Jacobs is against Lomovita for out number 1 in the second.
It's now 9 strikeouts for Jacobs in exactly 10 innings pitched this summer. 1 1/3 here tonight. 8 2/3 headed into tonight.
He'll face the lefty, Emilian Petrie. First pitch to him is low. Down at 87 was Jacobs. A black ankle guard on the right leg for Petrie from the left side. 0-1, broken back, ground ball is short. Blake stays down, throws it over for the out. Now 2 outs here in the second.
Well, pitcher's duel early on. Cam Hill delivering, proving so far that even as a starter, he can continue to deliver strikes and get outs for Mike Roberts. And what's already been a great summer, continuing to look good for Dylan Jacobs out on the mound. Both guys in control.
Ryan Waldschmidt, he is the 7-hitter for Cotuit. First pitch fastball is high. Jacobs keeping his pitch count low once again. This will be pitch number 23 on the 1-0 count. And it's lined into left. Over goes Micheletti. He'll have to let it drop. Second hit on the day for Cotuit is off the bat of Ryan Waldschmidt for a 2-out single in the bottom of the second.
2-out hitting. It's so valuable. You know, the toughest out to get in any inning is the third. The more looks you get at how a guy is throwing, the better chance you have to get a hit off of him. If there's anybody who could tell you that, it's Jack Penny, who hit his home run in the 8th last night against YD with 2 outs to tie game at 4 in the 8th.
Against Roberts on YD from Campbell. First pitch, strike, right down the middle to Teo Banks out of Tulane. Plays right field for Cotuit tonight. And it was so interesting in both starts for Dylan Jacobs. He's been facing some top pitching against him in terms of the other starting pitcher. The 0-1 is a chopper, high chopper to third. Penny waits for it to come down. The throw over is high. Olmstead has to come off the bag. Johnny Olmstead had to leap up in the air to keep that one from going away. It's going to get ruled a hit. It was a high Baltimore chop to Jack Penny, who had to wait for it to come down and then immediately release the throw. So a single for Walschmidt. He's at second. Teo Banks with an infield single. He's at first. And Josh Pine, the 9-hitter out of Indiana, has 2 men on with 2 outs.
That's a great play from Olmstead at first.
First pitch to Pine is a ball.
No, it's been a bit of a slow start to this summer for the USC Trojan from the plate, but the versatility he's provided Kelly Nicholson's crew in the infield, that steals a free bag and keeps a runner at second instead of 90 feet away from home plate.
Jacobs down 1-0 in the count to Pine, now down 2-0 after the high fastball. His first real jam of the night comes here in the second, but as I was saying, he pitched against Chatham, against Brody Brecht, who's a top 20 prospect in the MLB draft, and then pitched against Isaac Tiger, who brought some heat of his own against Falmouth. He was up to task, Jacobs was, in both starts. 2-0 pitch is high, now 3-0. On deck, back to the leadoff man, is someone that you don't want to face in Brett Bateman.
Pine, nobody to gloss over. Third team All Big Ten with the Hoosiers in the spring.
3-0 is a strike right down the middle from Jacobs.
It's been a slow start to the summer, though. This could be a big opportunity. 0 for 12 is the Indiana native.
Is 13 the lucky number for Josh Pine? 3-1, another chop to third in fair territory. No, it's foul. Called at the last second by the home plate umpire, Jeff Merzel, as soon as Penny was about to touch third for the force out. So a little bit unlucky for the Firebirds there, but I believe the right call as it went a little bit past the bag to the left side and into foul territory. So another chance for Pine. Now the count's full.
Well, somebody who got a great angle of it was manager Mike Roberts for Cotuit, who also coaches third base. Obviously, he wants to call to break his way. Good read from Jack. Can't do much more than that.
3-2, 2 outs, 2 men on. Walschmidt at second. Banks at first. 3-2, popped up. Shallow right field. Oyama goes over and makes the catch. Joe Oyama roams to his left and makes the catch to get Jacobs out of the jam. 2 hits back-to-back for Cotuit in the second. And before Jacobs shuts that down with a fly out of Josh Pine. We'll go to the third, still 0-0 here in Cotuit.
Welcome back to the Birds Broadcast Network. I'm Sammy Miller. The game remains scoreless heading to the top of the third. Guys, the key word for today is relentless in every aspect of the game. Batting, pitching, catching. These Firebirds need to be relentless for all 9 innings, no matter how many runs they are up or down. The coaching staff is also emphasizing to ignore the zeros and control what you can control. If you start worrying about the intangibles, that is when mistakes tend to happen. But if you play with a clear mind, you can play more loose, and communication in the infield and outfield will also strengthen. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Sammy. Resiliency, and that's exactly what the Firebirds had last night against YD. Down 4-3 after what seemed like a back-breaking 3-run home run by Hunter Hines. They come back the next inning. They tie the game 4-4 on a solo shot by Jack Penny. End up winning 5-4. See if they can continue that resiliency into today. Cam Hill back out to the mound for inning number 3. He faces Eddie King Jr. Eddie came into the game last night as a pinch runner for Jake Hyde in the top of the 9th. Grounds this one to third. Sliding play by Pine. The throw over is in time. Down the line, Pine went to a knee and threw out the Speedy King Jr. for out number 1.
You're not one of the best players in the Big Ten only because you swing the bat well. Although Pine has made 21 errors over 2 years with the Hoosiers. That's a great backhanded stab on the hot corner, and Eddie King could have used that.
First pitch to Johnny Olmstead is just a bit high with the fastball from Hill. King made it all the way to third last night in the 9th. However, was stranded there. As we stayed at 4-4 at the time. Now 2-0 to Olmstead after a curveball was spiked into the dirt.
Things have been looking up for J.O. over the last week. Hitting 4 for 14 after a tough start to this season. Tied for 4th on the team in batting average over the last week in what has been a great week for the Birds.
2-0, now high 3-0. Olmstead is always a guy poised to break out. We see him in BP, which, yes, is, old fastballs right down the middle, but he's putting on a show in batting practice. 3-0 is a fastball right down the middle for a strike. He's cleared the scoreboard at Red Wilson Field. Today, he hit one into the Cotuit bullpen, which is about 20 feet past the left field wall, where their pitchers are getting ready. 3-1 off speed for a strike. That is nasty out of Hill.
Just really well-located pitches with the off-speed from Hill. He isn't pounding the zone, but he's getting outs.
Full count pitch. Olmstead fouls off the high fastball. And Ian, we're back at another field where the foul balls are sponsored.
You got to make your money somehow.
Which field was that?
Falmouth.
Falmouth.
Go Fuller on Tuesday.
Hey.
Pizza Shop.
Pizza Shop, the Supreme Tomatoes, 3-2, another foul ball back. A lot of pizzas tonight.
Didn't you say you were going to get pizza before the game?
Should have. I got to try. I mean, you have to try it out. It's marketing, right? They're going to say their name over and over. It's eventually going to get drilled into your head. 3-2 pitch, off speed. Olmstead lines it behind second. Petrie is there and makes the catch. 2 outs on the inning. Cam Hill has gone 8 up, 8 down. Henry Hunter, who bats 9th, does the catching tonight. His green from UAB, and Dylan Jacobs is green from Stetson. Very similar to Green Battery today.
2 guys that might know each other. A couple of Atlanta natives. And Henry Hunter and Cam Hill.
Takes the first pitch, ball high, up to 94 with the heater. Hill fires another fastball for a strike. Hunter, 176 batting average on the year. He's done a great job of moving runners over and knowing his role when it comes to the plate. He's also been very good defensively in the catching position. Takes ball 2 low. Hill will kick and deliver from the left side off speed, and Hunter gets a piece of it.
Hunter had a great start to the year from the plate. 3 of his first 9 hits. 0 for 8 over the last week. But out of the 2 catchers, he's been the most consistent from the plate.
2-2 high fastball, got him swinging. 9 up, 9 down from Hill. 3 of them strikeouts. He continues his incredible season so far. Gets the fist bumps from the guys in the dugout. We stay scoreless going to the bottom of the 3rd here in Cotuit. We go top 3 on the Birds Broadcast Network. Still scoreless here from Cotuit, as the Kettleers take their third crack at it. 2 hits in the second with 2 outs, but Jacobs bared down. He got Pine to fly out to second. Back to the top of the order in the third. It'll be Bateman, Harrison, and Peebles.
Interested to see how Cotuit responds second time around against Dylan Jacobs. He's been able to get through roughly the lineup once or twice fairly easily through a couple times. But Brett Bateman, not an easy guy to retire multiple times in a row. I mean, literally, he's got a 500 batting average through 2 weeks here on the Cape. And he's playing pretty much every day for Mike Roberts. Flew out to center his first time up, but the All-Big Ten selection looking to get back on base in his second go-around.
Jacobs back to the mound. He's allowed 3 hits so far tonight. None that have come back to bite him. First pitch to Bateman, a fastball for a strike. 1 strikeout on the day for Jacobs. 3 ground outs to 2 pop flies. The 0-1, a fastball outside to Bateman at 92. Has his sliding oven mitt, sleeve, whatever you want to call it, in his back pocket. And comes from the left side. 1-1, slaps it to left. Over goes Micheletti. Another ball that drops in front. Cotuit placing the ball wherever they please so far tonight. And hit number 4 for the Kettleers. Hit number 1 for Brett Bateman.
It's just what he does. Going the opposite way to lead off the inning. Set the tone for your team. Already 4 hits for Cotuit. The offense is moving tonight. They're getting contact off Dylan Jacobs. He has done a little bit of damage control so far. Did it in that second inning. Has to do it again.
Khalil Harrison, classic double play ball. Oyama to Blake on the first. Not in time. Blake had some trouble swiping his foot over the bag, which might have caused a little bit of delay and allowed Harrison to reach with his speed. So it's a force out at second, takes Bateman off the bases for out number 1.
Obviously, you wish that play turned, but you'll take the out and keep on moving here.
With Harrison on first, held on by Olmstead. Pickoff throw, not in time, close, but no cigar. Cannon Peebles, a fielder's choice last time up. He flew it to shallow left, and Micheletti or Blake couldn't make the catch. It dropped, and Micheletti threw to second before Harrison could make it there. He was stuck in no man's land. Another check over on the runner before a pitch to Peebles. Another lefty in Mike Roberts' order. Kettleers team that won the championship not too long ago in 2019.
17-time champions, Mike Roberts. He's been a part of a lot of winning here from Lowell Park.
Not all of them he's been a part of.
No, he hasn't won 17. He's been here 19 seasons.
He would have to get his own special section in the Cape Cod Hall of Fame if he won all 17.
Well, he is in the American Baseball Coaches Association Hall of Fame.
Not too bad. A 1 before we get there. Harrison, another check on him. It's Micheletti, King, and Trimble left to right in the outfield, and Penny, Blake, Oyama, and Olmstead left to right in the infield. Of course, Henry Hunter doing the catching tonight for Dylan Jacobs. 0-1 with 1 out. Harrison off first. Things starting to slow down a little bit. Ground ball to first. Olmstead to second for 1. On to first. Jacobs covering. Got him! Olmstead to Blake. Back to Jacobs for the double play. And Orleans keeps Cotuit off the board once again in the third. We'll go to the fourth. Donuts across the board here in Cotuit. We go to the top of the fourth. The Firebirds turn the lineup over. Joe Oyama will lead it off. But Ian, in that bottom of the third, some great defense on display from Olmsted to Blake to Jacobs.
Yeah, I already mentioned earlier in the game, Johnny Olmsted has been one of, if not the best, defensive infielder for this Firebirds team. I will stand on that statement time in and time again. And Andy Blake able to redeem himself a little bit after not being able to turn the double play earlier in the inning. Able to do so there, 1-6-3.
Oyama showed bunt, pulled back, called a strike from Hill. But it was Olmsted and then Blake. As you said, he kind of redeemed himself right there with a strong throw to Jacobs, who was covering the bag. Olmsted had to get off it as the ball took him towards second. Quickly 0-2 to Oyama after another called strike on a breaking ball. Hitting .370 coming in to tonight's game. 0-2 is high for a ball. Struck out last time up. Oyama, whose OPS is above 1,100, and not even a home run yet on the season. It's been doubles and triples. 1-2, reaches out and pokes it behind second. In comes Bateman, the center fielder, and makes the catch. Ten batters up, 10 batters down against Cam Hill, who looks as dominant as ever on the mound. The fastball kind of started out that first inning, getting 2 strikeouts. Now it's been a lot of the off-speed. He's been known to have good control, throwing, as they say, on the arm side, which is, of course, outside to righties. Here's another righty and another pitch to the arm side to Fenwick Trimble. Cam Hill, a lefty, pitches well on the side of the plate, outside to righties and inside to lefties.
Curious to see how much longer he stays in this ball game.
1-0, swing and a miss over the off-speed by Trimble.
Only 6 career starts over 2 years with Georgia Tech in the ACC. He's got just under 50 pitches right now. This will be pitch 50. He only touched 50 pitches twice in the spring.
Showing his length. 1-1 pitch is in there for a strike at the bottom of the zone. Good frame by Loma Vita, who brought it up.
That's a tough call. You know, if you're going to get that call, the zone's a little expanded down there.
1-2 to Trimble. Just got a piece. Stays alive after the foul ball. Like Ian said, if Jeff Merzell is going to have that type of zone, it's that much harder to hit Cam Hill and have good at-bats against him. 1-2 with 1 out and the base is empty of a scoreless game. Trimble goes down swinging. Strikeout number 4 for Cam Hill. There is no let-up in the lefty.
It just looks so casual for him right now. For somebody who isn't used to opening up a game and going through the order twice, maybe 3 times, it's just easy stuff, you know? 2 pitches that are really good. He's not throwing 100. You know, he's not crazy movement, but everything is just solid right now for Cam Hill.
1-0 to Micheletti from the left side, who checked his swing but fouled it off anyway on a high fastball. Like Ian said, it doesn't look like he's exerting a lot of energy on the mound either. He gets the ball and he's ready to go.
I guess I'd want him to be pretty calm.
1-1 is a strike on the outside corner with the off-speed. The slider once again to Micheletti. 1 strike away from 4 perfect innings. Doesn't get it there. High and outside to Micheletti. Harrison at shortstop was doing a little jump. Thought he got him on the called strike 3.
Micheletti not an easy player to strike out.
2-2, waits and watches a slider in the dirt. Runs the count full. 3rd full count for the Firebirds tonight. Oyama in the 1st, Hall back in the 2nd, and now Micheletti in the 4th. Going to get their first base runner on. 3-2 pitch, chopped foul into the Firebirds dugout on the first base side. A great crowd here tonight on Monday night. A lot of baseball lovers on the first base grandstand and the 3rd. 3-2 again. Micheletti, chopper to 2nd. Fielded by Petrie. Throws to 1st for the out. 4 perfect innings for Cam Hill. But we stay scoreless as we go to the bottom of the fourth here from Cotuit on the Birds Broadcast Network. Back in the Birds Broadcast Network, Dylan Jacobs is matching Cam Hill 0 for 0. He's not doing it maybe as efficient as Cam, who's going 4 perfect so far, but he has held his own. 37 pitches, 3 innings of work, and has, in the most part, shut down with great defense. Cotuit, 1 strikeout, but getting ground balls when he needs to. He's allowed 4 hits, but still zeros on the board. He'll face Jacob Tobias, the cleanup hitter, for Cotuit. Toby, a left-handed hitter with the Adidas cleats on.
Toby. You know him on that personal level? That his nickname at ASU?
It's his nickname. I don't know him as well as others. The 0-0, line drive to Penny, gets it on a hop, throws it over to first, in time for the out. 1 pitch, 1 out. Jacobs wins the battle against Tobias.
That was the second time this season that Jacob Tobias has come up to the plate. We've called him Toby Tanks, and he's grounded out in the first pitch.
We should keep doing it.
No.
If it works out for the Firebirds.
Come on, he's a Sun Devil.
I cheer for him during the college season. During the summer ball season, all bets are off. First pitch to Loma Vida is outside for a ball from Jacobs. You know, you have to decide where your fandom lies.
You do.
Line drive into center. King's got a beat on it. And in right center, he makes the catch. So 3 pitches, 2 outs for Dylan Jacobs in the fourth.
I think he heard you say before the inning began he's not working as efficiently as Cam Hill. You know, I mean, things that we say on the broadcast, I mean, we're not too far from the dugout, not too far from the field, using it as motivation.
Hope some of the players like what we say. Another first pitch swing and an out. A line drive by Emilian Petre right into the glove of Blake. A 4-pitch inning in the fourth. Jacobs puts up another 0. We'll go to the 5th, and my man Ian Nicholas will take over here from Cotuit.
Top of the 5th from Lowell Park. Orleans Firebirds and Cotuit Kettleers tied at 0. Cam Hill, a perfect game on the mound for the Kettleers through 4 innings, but he's done after 4 innings. What's the final line on him?
Ian, it's pretty easy. I don't even have to look at my scorebook. 4 innings, no hits, no walks, no base runners.
How many strikeouts?
And 4 strikeouts for Hill.
What a start. His first start in Cape League action. His first start in the last 2 seasons of Cape League action, he was a beast, the best reliever in the NECBL last year for the championship-winning Martha's Vineyard Sharks, where he was teammates with Orleans starter Dylan Jacobs, who's also tossed 4 scoreless here today on a cloudy 72-degree evening from Cotuit. Both of those two battling it out, but now it's a lefty from the University of Miami, originally from Holbrook, New York, the 6'4", 200-pound rising junior, Rafe Schlesinger.
Yeah, Long Island boy. Comes in from the left side and has to face the meat of this Orleans order that is probably pretty thankful they don't have to face Hill anymore. But still a very tough lefty with a weird delivery.
And a really good result so far this summer. Through 7 2/3, he's given up just 1 earned run. Andy Blake, first pitch swinging, and he fouls one right into the body of the catcher, Caleb Lomavita. He's all good. Hands the ball to home plate umpire Jeff Merzel, who makes his way out in front of a mound and gives it right to Schlesinger.
Gives Lomavita some time. Just pleasantries between the umpire and the catcher. Both are working so hard, and the umpire wants to give Lomavita a little bit of time to catch his breath.
And he's all good. Andy Blake, the righty, 0 for 1 tonight with a ground out to second in the second. Goes behind 0-1, but cranks one to right and foul out of play. And Blake goes behind 0-2, leading off for Orleans in the top of the 5th, 0-0. Rafe Schlesinger, the new arm in the game, replacing Cam Hill, another lefty, after 4 perfect innings. Another ACC pitcher on the bump. His 0-2, low and in breaking ball at 81 miles an hour, misses inside 1-2.
It's almost like a sweeper. It starts on the right side of the plate to Blake and then breaks toward his back foot.
Schlesinger, the 1-2 pitch. Fouled away. Wearing the white cleats with pink laces. Cotuit in their pinstripe white uniforms tonight. Red lettering, navy blue trim, and blue caps. The 1-2 offering low to the lanky 6'4" Blake. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Bases empty. Nobody out. Scoreless game. Top 5. Schlesinger at the belt. Kicks. Deals the 2-2. Low and in again. Another miss. No. A late strike 3 call from Jeff Merzel. Andy Blake just smiles. A bit stunned. He goes down looking. Nobody on, 1 out. Good start for Schlesinger.
Ian, I was right with you. There was no reaction out of Merzel, who almost made it seem like the pitch was down the middle, and he didn't have to call strike 3, but that pitch was on the inside corner low. To Blake, he didn't think it was a strike.
Regardless, Blake now 0 for 2 today. Jack Penny, the lefty third baseman, gets ahead 1-0 as Schlesinger misses on the outside. Fires in the 1-0 pitch. Outside again. 2 balls, no strikes in this ACC duel between Miami and Notre Dame. Bases empty, 1 out. Orleans still in search of its first hit tonight. Strike 1. Penny still ahead 2-1.
Penny, a huge game yesterday, his best of the season, easily from the plate.
The home run in the top of the 8th to tie the game at 4. Big swing from Penny at a pitch that misses low and outside, but gets the whiff and evens the count 2-2. That one clocking in at 92 miles an hour for the 6'3", 202-pound lefty. The 2-2 offering swung on and missed again. That time the off-speed offering retires Penny, and the dominant pitching continues. Still no base runners for Orleans with 2 outs recorded in the top of the 5th of a scoreless game.
Almost giving us flashbacks to the Chatham game, where there's 2 pitchers who came out of, well, one the starter and Brody Brecht, and one who came out of the bullpen and Matt Wilkinson, and both were dominant. These is 2 back-to-back lefties in Cam Hill and now Rafe Schlesinger that are coming from the left side and are just straight up nasty.
Here's the DH, Matt Hallback, righty on lefty. A ball and no strikes to him. Grounded out his first time up. Swing and a miss, now 1-1. It's also back-to-back pitchers for Cotuit, who played for the Martha's Vineyard Sharks last summer. All 3 pitchers in this game spent last summer in Martha's Vineyard. The 1-1 pitch, low and in at the knees of Hallback. There's a strike. He goes behind 1-2. A strike away from 5 perfect innings is Cotuit's pitching staff. And a scoreless game in the top of the fifth. Schlesinger winds and deals for 2-2 on the inner half of the plate. Strike three. Schlesinger strikes out the side. Blake goes down looking. Penny swinging. Hullback looking. Dominance from the Martha's Vineyard Sharks pitchers. Do we see a fifth inning of dominance from Dylan Jacobs? We do. The long-haired Florida native makes his way out to the mound for the bottom of the fifth from Lowell Park, and we'll be right back to see how it goes in the Birds Broadcast Network. Couple of Florida natives to do battle in the bottom of the fifth inning as Dylan Jacobs, the Stetson pitcher, and Central Florida native faces off with a Kentucky player born and raised in Sarasota, Florida. The left fielder, Ryan Waldschmidt. 7, 8, 9, the bottom of the order, due up for Cotuit. 4 hits tonight for the Kets, no runs, and a scoreless game, bottom 5. Dylan Jacobs deals to variety. First pitch swinging, fly ball left center field, ranging towards his left, making the catch in his left-handed glove, right at the shoulders, Eddie Micheletti. 1 up, 1 down, 1 pitch, as Jacobs wins the battle of the Sunshine State over Waldschmidt.
I mean, going back to that fourth inning, 4-pitch inning, 5 outs, 5 pitches, 4 outs for Jacobs through the fourth and now the first and the fifth.
Another righty in Teo Banks. He singled his first time up. He swings at the first pitch, chops it to the middle of the infield. Oyama throws across his body to first and makes the play. Joe Oyama, he was on the left side of second base, threw it across his body, made it look easy. And that's quickly 2 up, 2 down off 2 pitches. Waldschmidt and Banks in the bottom of the fifth. What an unbelievable 5 outs recorded by Dylan Jacobs. He is dominating. And now he faces the bottom man of the order, Josh Pine, who takes a ball at a pitch low in the zone, 1-0.
I think Pine was taking that either way.
Yeah.
Whether it was a strike or a ball.
Only 44 pitches for Jacobs as he lands one on the inner half for strike 1 to even the count to the Indiana Hoosier.
If he records this out, it'll be the longest outing of his season so far.
A ball and a strike. Jacobs deals, popped up, high left field, along the foul line. Micheletti in foul territory, stops and makes the catch right on the line. Jacobs smiling, grinning, looking at Kelly Nicholson and Henry Hunter saying, this is too easy. 5-pitch inning. Unbelievable from Dylan Jacobs, continuing to dominate here in Cotuit. We'll be back in the top of the 6 on the Birds Broadcast Network, still scoreless.
Welcome back to the Birds Broadcast Network. I'm Sammy Miller. The game remains scoreless heading to the top of the 6th. I spoke to Georgetown's catcher Owen Carpellotti before the game, and he said how the culture they are building is playing a huge factor into their success. He noted how there are no egos on the team and how in the dugout they're always helping each other out regardless if a player is in the batting order or not. Owen also added how it's especially helpful to have a fellow catcher, Henry Hunter, here in Orleans because they're constantly bouncing ideas off of each other and sharing certain things they have noticed about their pitchers in order to catch for the best types of pitchers and their various styles as well that they're seeing on a nightly basis. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Sammy. The culture feeling pretty good right now for a Firebirds team that's won 4 of its last 5, headed into a test against the top team in the West in the Cotuit Kettleers. Top 6, Ray Schlesinger, still on the mound for his second inning of work for the Kettleers. Leading off for the Birds is the 7th man in the order, Eddie King Jr. in another ACC battle, Miami against King Jr. from Louisiana. I am all out of sorts.
Louisville.
Louisville. 0 for 3. Ball and a strike is the count to King. He waves the pitch just low of the zone. Fastball at 91 from Schlesinger. He gets ahead 1-2. No hits for Orleans through 6 innings. Schlesinger was amazing in the 5th. Struck out the side. He deals, cranked the opposite way, and through the hole for a base hit. Eddie King, who could use that hit, his 3rd of the season in the 1st of the night in the top of the 6th for Orleans. It gets through the 4-3 hole.
If anyone needed a little bit of a spark to provide it, Eddie King gets on first base. Now with nobody out, brings a lot of speed as well. And although before that at bat, the Orleans Firebirds were getting perfect gamed, if you were to use it as a verb,
yeah,
I still think with their pitching that they're in a great spot.
Schlesinger checks in on King, probably aware of the speed he brings, given those two have seen each other before in ACC action. King has yet to steal a base this season. His 3rd hit on the year for Orleans as Schlesinger misses low to Johnny Olmstead, the righty first baseman. Gets ahead 1-0.
A little bit tougher to steal on a lefty, of course, with Schlesinger staring right at King in his warm-up.
The 1-0 offering in the dirt, blocked up by Lowell Park. 2 balls, no strikes. First base runner of the day, first hit of the day. Off the bat of Eddie King. Scoreless, top 6. Schlesinger deals. Olmstead, ground ball foul down the third base side. 2-1. Olmstead 0 for 1 on the day with a fly out to second in the 3rd.
I would not be the man, want to be the man named Josh Pine playing 3rd on the grass against Johnny Olmstead.
2-1. Misses low and in. 3-1. Pine made a great play earlier in this game. A backhanded stab on a 5-3 putout during Eddie King's first at bat. 3 balls and a strike. Schlesinger, the pitch on the way. Another foul ball, and it lands right in the Cotuit dugout along the left side of the field here from Lowell Park. First of 2 trips on the year for Orleans on the road against its West Division rival. Kettleers 9-5 on the season, 4-3 at home. The payoff pitch, swing and a miss. Rafe Schlesinger has faced 5 Firebirds and retired 4 of them via strikeouts.
Olmstead with another good at-bat, but Schlesinger's off speed is nasty. And he gets caught guessing fastball right there. It'll be up to Henry Hunter.
Henry Hunter, the lefty catcher, to face the lefty pitcher. King takes off for second. Loma Vida a throw, and the tag applied, not in time. King slides in head first. The tag came in from Khalil Harrison, the shortstop. Loma Vida a solid throw, but Eddie King, great speed in his first stolen base on the summer. First runner in scoring position for Orleans tonight in a scoreless affair in the top of the 6th. Ball and a strike. Hunter fouls it away, 1-2.
It was a really good throw by Loma Vida, but King got his hand in there just before, and it was a great call as well by the first base umpire in Marvick Gomez.
Gomez dusted off the second base bag. The 2-1 pitch outside to the lefty Hunter. Now 1-2.
First time the Birds have gotten a man in scoring position tonight.
Trying to take the lead, which has been critical during this winning streak. Unfortunately, Henry Hunter with a swing and miss. He strikes out. It's another K for Rafe Schlesinger. His 5th in just 1 2/3. 5 outs, 5 strikeouts for the Miami Star.
That's strikeout number 9 for the Firebirds total. They've made just 17 outs, and 9 of them have been by the K.
Orleans with the 3rd most strikeouts in the league headed into tonight at just under 120 through 13 games. Joe Oyama, the lefty second baseman, gets behind 1-0, but takes a ball that misses low and outside from Schlesinger, 1-1. Orleans wearing their red camo vest once again tonight. Oyama with the black undershirt. Black lettering and white trim on the jersey. Foul ball, hits it off his left leg, shakes it off. A ball and 2 strikes, and Schlesinger a strike away from keeping Eddie King put at second after his leadoff single and stolen bag. Still scoreless, top 6. Schlesinger gets beside from Loma Vida, fires in the 1-2, weakly chopped over to the left side, and Schlesinger collides with the 3rd baseman, Pine. They are both okay, but a lack of communication leads to a scary sight as Schlesinger went for the ground ball, so did Josh Pine, and both of them just collided right into each other. King on 3rd, Oyama on 1st. Runners on the corners, 2 out.
And on that bunt, or swinging bunt, I should say, it's Pine's ball coming in. He's the one with forward momentum. He's moving towards first base. Schlesinger, who's also a lefty, not only has to pick up the ball, but turn his body to throw to first base. It is Pine's ball 100%, and Schlesinger had the instinct to go for it, and bang, a collision that benefits the Firebirds. Let's see if they can make Cotuit pay.
No error put on the board. It goes down as the 2nd hit of the inning and 2nd hit of the night for Orleans. Oyama on 1st, King on 3rd, and Fenwick Trimble comes up to the plate. The righty 0 for 2 tonight with a pair of strikeouts. Checking in on Oyama at 1st is Schlesinger, trying to rebound after a wild sequence, which luckily ended in applause from the crowd here from Cotuit. Pitch on the way to Trimble for a strike on the inner half. 0-1. Loma Vida, he's got to be at his best here. A big backstop from Lowell Park. Orleans scored its first run of the day yesterday on a wild pitch with Owen Carpellotti at 3rd. The 0-1 offering, swung on, chopped weakly down the first base side. Gloved by Tobias. He steps on the bag, ends the inning, and leaves 2 stranded for Orleans. A collision, a scary moment for Mike Roberts' crew. Schlesinger colliding with Josh Pine on kind of a routine ground ball down the left field line. Play was not made there, but rebounding and getting the out Schlesinger to leave Oyama and King stranded just a few moments later of Fenwick Trimble. Couple hits across the board, no runs, still scoreless after 5.5. We go to the bottom of the 6th on the Birds Broadcast Network. One Stetson pitcher out, another Stetson pitcher in. Dylan Jacobs with 5 scoreless innings and under 50 pitches leaves the ballgame and is replaced by his collegiate teammate and now Firebirds teammate, Jonathan Gonzalez. Dylan, what's the final line on the first hatter to pitch in this ballgame?
Dylan Jacobs, he was as good as it gets. 5 innings, 4 hits, no walks, and a strikeout, and, of course, no runs allowed. Maybe the strikeout numbers weren't there for Jacobs, but once again, and he's been so good at this the whole season, we've been talking about it, Ian, inducing weak contact from a Cotuit team that's used to putting the ball over the fence, putting the ball into gaps. Jacobs put him at bay tonight, and now before he has to face the lineup a third time, his teammate comes in.
That he does. For the second time this season, Gonzalez follows up Jacobs. And the lefty deals to fellow lefty Brett Bateman, who showed bunt but pulled it back only to take a strike. 76-mile-an-hour pitch to start things off for Gonzalez. And the Miami native gets ahead 0-1, making his third appearance for Orleans. Line drive down the right field line, foul. 0-2, Bateman. 1 for 2 tonight with a fly out to center and a single in the third. A 13-game hit streak for the Minnesota Golden Gopher. He steps back into the left-handed batter's box. Bottom 6, scoreless affair. Gonzalez deals, misses low and away for ball 1.
Gonzalez has been so good in long and middle relief for this team. 5 1/3 innings, 1 walk, 6 hits, 6 Ks, and a 1.68 ERA.
Make that 7 Ks. Brett Bateman goes down looking. Gonzalez, a beautifully placed pitch on the outer half of the plate to the lefty.
And that's not no easy batter to strike out, Ian, and Bateman. However, the Firebirds, who, they face the guys who haven't struck out, but they struck out Will King yesterday. Grayson Carter did. Today, Brett Bateman gets the strikeout.
It's been that kind of day, as showing bunt, pulling it back at a pitch that was dangerously close to hitting him. Kalai Harrison, another lefty, gets ahead 1-0. Kelly Nicholson playing the matchup battle. The lefty pitcher against back-to-back lefties to start here in the bottom of the 6th. Swing and a miss from Harrison. He has a ball and a strike count. Gonzalez gets the sign. Kicks, deals the 1-1 breaking ball. Upstairs, ball 2.
It was just a little bit high and inside from Gonzalez. Such a master at where he wants to put his pitches.
Working quickly on the 2-1 pitch, which is cranked the opposite way into the glove of Jack Penny at third. Over to first in time to Johnny Olmstead. And Gonzalez retires the 2 men at the top of the order for Cotuit easily with a strikeout and ground out. Base is empty, 2 out. 0-0, bottom 6.
And now the first righty that Gonzalez is going to have to face is Cannon Peebles. But he's been so good, he can go upwards of 2 1/3 innings and has just put up zeros so far this year.
Cannon Peebles reached on a fielder's choice in the first. Grounded into a double play in the third. First pitch strike. 0-1 to the star from North Carolina State. 4 hits tonight for Cotuit, no runs to show for it. Gonzalez misses low with the breaking ball. Even count 1-1.
Another thing, Ian, is that we haven't seen Gonzalez in 6 days.
Swing and a miss. It doesn't look like it. Another breaking ball. Over top of it was Peebles. Gonzalez, a strike away from going 1-2-3. Base is empty, 2 out. 1 ball, 2 strikes to the DH, who takes for ball 2. Gonzalez firing low of the zone.
Hasn't pitched in a week ever since the YD game last Monday in a 4-1 loss.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Gonzalez deals low and in. Ball 3, full count. A good pitch, but just too far inside of a righty. And a full count. Gonzalez at the belt, fires in the payoff. Fouled away, straight beneath the feet of Peebles. We'll do it again on the full count.
Gonzalez both times out. He's pitched 2 2/3. However, with how long Jacobs has gone, I don't know if he'll get that long today.
The 3-2 along it back continues. Foul ball dribbles down the left field line, makes its way towards the wall. Well past Mike Roberts, 19th year manager for Cotuit.
Maybe in year 3 would have maybe able to make that play.
Another payoff pitch, breaking ball on the lower third, maybe just underneath. Ball 4. A great at-bat for Cannon Peebles, who works out a 2-out walk. 1 on, 2 out, scoreless game, bottom 6. Pinch hitter in the game for the Kettleers, Cole Mathis, another righty, comes to the plate from the College of Charleston. 6'1", 210-pound Georgia native. Gonzalez deals, misses low and in. Faced 2 lefties in a row. Retired Bateman and Harrison easily. Peebles gets on with a walk. And now Mathis gets ahead 1-0. Tobias, who he's pinch hitting for, a lefty. So maybe Roberts, just like Kelly Nicholson, playing a bit of a matchup game.
Yes, he has. Mathis, who's also a two-way, has pitched this year as well.
No balls, 2 strikes. Gonzalez deals, swing, fouled off. One on, 2 out. Scoreless, bottom 6. Gonzalez gives a long stare towards Peebles at first, and finally, a pickoff attempt in his direction. Gets back to the bag with plenty of time. 1-1. The count to the pinch hitter, Cole Mathis. Gonzalez, another pickoff attempt in the direction of Peebles, who has decent speed on the base paths. 2 stolen bases on 3 attempts this summer, now in his 11th game for Cotuit. Gonzalez, the 1-1. Misses outside to the righty. 2-1.
Every pitch, the tension rising. 0-0 game in the 6th.
A game that's lacked offense. 2-1 pitch in the dirt, blocked up by Hunter, and staying at first is Peebles. Good recovery from the UAB catcher. Bailing out Gonzalez, who now falls behind 3-1. A ball away from handing out his 2nd straight free pass. 1 on, 2 out, 3-1 offering on the inner half for a strike. And for the 2nd batter in a row, the count is worked full.
Gonzalez is best when he's getting the swing and miss with the changeup. If he can place this at the bottom of the zone or maybe even lower, get the swing and miss.
Payoff on the way home, gets the swing and miss. It's the breaking ball that Mathis swings over top and leaves a runner stranded in Cannon Peebles. 6 scoreless innings, 75 minutes down, top of the 7th. We go in a quick moving affair from Lowell Park. We'll be right back in the top of the 7th on the Birds Broadcast Network. Top of the 7th on the Birds Broadcast Network. Ian Nicholas, Dylan Pescatore on the call. Thanks so much for joining us on a 72-degree cloudy evening from Lowell Park. Orleans, 4 wins on the road already out of its 6 on the season. Have not done a lot of winning over the last 2 innings offensively against Rafe Schlesinger, the 6'3" lefty from Miami, with 5 strikeouts in the last 2 frames. Eddie King Jr., the lone Firebird to reach, a leadoff single last inning. Joe Oyama also followed that up with a single. So 2 hits off Schlesinger last inning. Eddie Micheletti leads off for the Birds. 3-4-5 due up for the Orange, lefty-lefty. Micheletti 0 for 2 tonight with a couple groundouts. Came into the game on a 6-game hit streak. Pitch misses at his feet, 1-0. Schlesinger, a couple great seasons with Miami. A 3.38 ERA, exactly a 3.38 ERA in each of his first 2 collegiate seasons. 2 balls, no strikes to Micheletti. Schlesinger misses outside. Top 7, scoreless game from Lowell Park. The 2-0 pitch in for a strike on the outer half.
Because of Mathis pinch hitting for Jacob Tobias, Tanner Tatch now at first base on defense for Cotuit.
The 1-2 pitch outside, 2-2. If that name sounds familiar, it might bring back bad memories. In the 6-1 game that Cotuit won against Orleans a week and a half ago, Tanner Tatch with 2 home runs from Eldridge Park. 2-2 is popped up behind the plate. All over it is Loma Vida. He snags it. 1 away in the top of the 7th. Micheletti retired on the foul out with the bases empty.
Pitcher's duel is what it is, and it's hard to get any opportunities. Eddie King kind of made one for himself last inning, getting all the way to third base, but the Firebirds couldn't capitalize. Every opportunity to score will be rare, uncommon, and huge.
Ball and no strikes to Andy Blake. The shortstop 0 for 2 tonight with a ground out and a backwards K. Bases empty, 1 out. 1-0 pitch. Also misses outside of a righty shortstop. 2-0. Blake headed to Duke next spring after 4 seasons at Columbia. 2-0 is launched into the glove of second baseman Emilian Petrie. Over to Jacob Tobias. 2 away. The new first baseman, Tanner Tatch. And Schlesinger continues to work wonders. 2 2/3 scoreless innings since replacing Cam Hill, who got this game going with 4 perfect frames for Mike Roberts' team. Jack Penny, the lefty, faces the lefty Schlesinger for the second time. First pitch strike, 0-1. Bases clear, 2 out. Top 7, 0-0.
Every hit so rare, every hit so special. Comes far and few between tonight on offense for both teams.
No balls, 2 strikes. Schlesinger, 44 pitches, 29 strikes. A strike away from 3 scoreless out of the pen on the 0-2. Does not get it. Misses outside to the Wakefield Mass native. Penny takes a deep breath, adjusts the helmet. Right back into the left-handed batter's box. Behind an account 1-2. Here's the pitch. Launched right on the hot corner. It drifts by the glove of Josh Pine. He picks it up in the infield dirt, but realizes there's no play to make as Penny reaches. Also a new third baseman in the game. It's Ryan Galaney. Galaney unable to make the play. They rule it a hit. 3rd hit of the game for Orleans. We'll see if that changes.
Some home scoring right there. Seems to be the end of the day for Schlesinger. But Penny, once again, down in the count, puts good wood on it, gets it to third base, and forces away on base as Galaney couldn't make the play.
Mike Roberts heads out to the mound, has a long conversation with his pitcher, Ray Schlesinger. Doesn't seem like he's going to yank him, though, as home plate umpire Jeff Merzel now makes his way to the mound, trying to end this mound visit. It's gone on a while. The entire infield and Caleb Lomavita, the catcher, meeting with Schlesinger on the mound. Roberts still on the hill. Finally, conversation ends, and Schlesinger stays in the game.
Second longest mound visit we've seen in the last 2 days, Ian. Yesterday, Scott Pickler, just a little bit longer than that one.
Yes. An interesting mound visit that was in the top of the 10th inning of a game that we thought could have been in doubt with a lot of fog from Red Wilson Field. 1 on, 2 out as Penny slides in the first safely after a pickoff attempt from Schlesinger. He has not stolen a base this summer. He's tried to twice. He's been caught stealing both times. Matt Hall back at the plate, 0 for 2 tonight. With a ground out and a strikeout, Schlesinger checks in on Penny again. 1 on, 2 out. Scoreless game, top of the 7th inning. 7 combined hits, 3 for Orleans, 4 for Cotuit. Schlesinger deals to Hall back, the righty, who goes ahead 1-0.
This is a situation, this is a type of game where if Hallback can find a gap, you can expect Penny to be on his horse and maybe get a send from hitting coach and third base coach Max Fesky that he wouldn't usually get.
A ball and a strike, Hallback, check swing, went around for strike 1. In search of his 3rd hit as a Firebird in 4 games with the team. The 1-1 misses outside with the off-speed pitch. Clocking in at 83 miles an hour from the lefty. 2 balls and a strike with 1 and 2 out. Top 7, 0-0. Matt Hallback on the 2-1. Ground ball off the mound. Into the glove of the shortstop. Tosses to second. In time, Kalai Harrison to Emilian Petre. Making it look easy. 6-5 put out. Leaves Jack Penny forced out at second base, and that's how the inning ends. 6.5 scoreless. If you like offense, this has not been the game for you. The bats get hot for Cotuit when we come back after a little bit of stretching in the bottom of the 7th. You'll have to tune in to find out on the Birds Broadcast Network. Another pitching change for Orleans in a scoreless game in the bottom of the 7th from Lowell Park. Thanks so much for joining us on the Birds Broadcast Network. Something new, Dylan. Jonathan Gonzalez comes in, gives a scoreless inning of relief. 2 strikeouts and a walk for the Stetson man. And now it's Cam Leiter, the right-handed pitcher transferring to Florida State after a sensational freshman season with UCF, Central Florida. Leiter made 2 starts in his first 2 appearances of the game for Orleans, of a season rather, but today, Kelly Nicholson bringing the talented rising sophomore out of a bullpen.
Yeah, and they said because of the rain day, which was Saturday, which was Cam Leiter's start day, it didn't happen. They kept Jake Peppers. They kept the pitching today, Dylan Jacobs, in the rotation and on their 5-day usual rest. Cam Leiter's going to come out of the bullpen, and I think it can suit him better. I know that he has had some control problems, 9 walks in 6 1/3 innings so far this year, 4 strikeouts as well, but when tensions are high and immediately you have to come in and be at your best, that's what pitching coach Jim Lawler said about starters coming out of the bullpen. Some can do it and some are great, some can't and struggle. This is sink or swim for Cam Leiter in a 0-0 game against Cotuit.
Leiter appeared in 15 games for the Knights of Central Florida in the spring. 14 of them were starts. Made 1 summer ball appearance last year, not on the Cape. It was with the South Jersey Kings of the ACBL. That came in a start. He has been a starter primarily throughout his baseball career. But tonight, out of a bullpen, faces Caleb Lomavita and delivers a first pitch strike to the catcher batting 5th in the order.
At 96.
That's Cam Leiter for you. He's going to have that great stuff, time in and time out. No ball and a strike. Leiter deals, off speed, whiff, 0-2. Base is empty, nobody out as Lomavita gets things going. Lomavita launches one foul to left, way out of here to the trees that surround Lowell Park. We'll do it again on the 0-2.
when you're a starter that has to come out of the pen and it's one mistake that could cost you the game, you're not starting out and it's the first inning. This is 7th inning, 0-0 game. He's got to be at his best.
Righty on righty. Swing and a miss. That's the Cam Leiter that we have been waiting to see. Kind of reminds you of his first strikeout of the season. Just nasty stuff. Loma Vida retired on 4 pitches, his second strikeout of the day.
And all heaters from Leiter as well. He's not messing around coming into this game.
Leiter misses low to the lefty, Emilian Petrie. 0 for 2 today with a ground out and a line out. A ball and no strikes. Leiter fires away. Foul ball over the backstop. 1-1. 96-mile-an-hour fastball for Leiter. The New Jersey native. Bases empty, 1 out. Scoreless game. Bottom of the 7th. His 1-1 popped up. Foul again, left field side. 1-2.
It's been all fastball so far for Leiter. Does he drop the curve? That's what's been kind of ailing him so far this season. We know the fastball's been good, but can he get the off-speed going and control it as well?
Still going through his signs with Henry Hunter. The 1-2 pitch, fouled away. Both these guys playing in the States. Petrie at Kentucky. Leiter from UCF to FSU. But both of them with Canadian roots. Petrie from Vancouver. And Leiter spent 10 years of his life in Vancouver. The 1-2 pitch, grounded sharply towards Andy Blake. Dives towards left, spins around, throws it to Olmstead. Tried to glove it, bounced in front of him, could not. And reaching safely is Petrie.
That should definitely go down as a hit. It was another hard hit ball, and this is kind of what happened when Leiter was a starter. He got a little bit too happy with the fastball, and Petrie was on that one, even though it came in at 95. Lined it up the middle. Blake did a good job of stopping it. However, with Petrie's speed, he had no chance to get him in time.
5th hit of the game for Cotuit. First off, Cam Leiter. 1-1. 1 on, 1 out. Here comes Ryan Waldschmidt to the plate. Fastball way up from Leiter. 1-0 to the righty. He gets behind against the left fielder.
Ian, we talked about relievers, and good ones have 2 pitches that they can lean on. Right now, Cam Leiter has to find that second pitch.
The 1-0 pitch. This time a low miss. 2-0. Leiter, his 3rd appearance on the summer. First out of a bullpen. Was supposed to start on Saturday against Hyannis in the game that got rained out, and now finds himself coming out of a bullpen. 2-0 pitch. Up and in. Shaking his head. Waldschmidt did not go for it. 3 balls, no strikes. 1 on, 1 out. Scoreless affair, bottom 7. Waldschmidt singled in the 2nd. Flew out to left in the 5th. Leiter's 3-0. Low of his own, ball 4. Back-to-back base runners reach on Cam Leiter. Emilian Petrie, an infield single. Ryan Waldschmidt walks the Kentucky Wildcats. Getting it done in the most action on the base pass we've seen from either team all day, with 2 on and 1 out in the bottom of the 7th.
Walks have plagued Cam so far this season. That's now the 10th walk for him in a game where walks kill. And base runners that are allowed on, an infield single, and now a walk could definitely hurt. It's not easy against Cotuit, but he does face 8 and 9 right here against the Kettleers.
Henry Hunter just stepped out to the mound. The catcher having a long conversation with Leiter, trying to settle him down, gave him a couple taps on the stomach. Teo Banks, the right fielder from Tulane, right-handed, comes to the plate. The face for righty Leiter, who's allowed 2 in a row to reach for Cotuit. 1st and 2nd with 1 out in a scoreless game. Leiter misses low, 1-0.
That's the pitch that he has to control. That was the changeup from Leiter. And these hitters who are very quick to pick things up, they can tell that the only pitch that's somewhat working for Leiter is the fastball right now.
The 1-0 pitch is a fastball, but it's low of the zone, 2-0. Leiter is struggling to find the strike zone. Only recorded 1 out. Struck out Caleb Lomavita. Emilian Petre on second with a single. Ryan Waldschmidt on first with a walk. Now ahead 2-0 in the count is Teo Banks. And on the 2-0, he takes and gets ball 3, low and in, a miss from Leiter, who is a ball away from loading the bases in a scoreless game here in the bottom of the 7th inning.
And if you're one of these Cotuit hitters, you say, I shouldn't swing until he throws me at least 1 or maybe even 2 strikes.
Leiter on the 3-0 count does throw a strike. Lands one in the upper half of the zone at 96 miles an hour. Still well ahead is Teo Banks. 3-1. 1 for 2 today with a single back in the second and a ground out to second in the 5th. Leiter's 3-1 pitch. Cut on and missed. Over top of it is Banks. And it's a full count with 2 on and 1 out.
That's 2 heaters from Leiter. He's going to throw it again here, most likely. Can he spot it in the right place?
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Leiter relying on the fastball with a full count. Misses outside. Cotuit's fans getting riled up. The offense thriving. Walks, 2 of them, and a single. And Kelly Nicholson has decided to go to the bullpen. Bases loaded for Cotuit with just 1 out. Cam Leiter comes out of a bullpen and allows 3 straight to reach for the Kettleers. Find out who Nicholson turns to try to put out this fire in a scoreless game in the bottom of the 7th when we come right back on the Birds Broadcast Network. Bases loaded for Cotuit as we return to Lowell Park in the bottom of the 7th, trying to break open a scoreless game. Cam Leiter makes his 3rd appearance on the summer for Orleans, his first out of a bullpen, struck out Caleb Lomavita, but then let 3 straight reach for Cotuit, a single for Emilian Petre, and back-to-back walks for Ryan Waldschmidt, Teo Banks, Dylan, Nate Ward, the righty out of Grand Canyon, tabbed by Kelly Nicholson to try to at least limit the damage here with 1 out.
It's not eliminate the damage. It's come in, and this is your best guy who can strike out and bring the Ks. He's throwing upwards of 91, 92. Big year for Nate Ward over at GCU in Arizona. 33 strikeouts in 25 innings, only 13 hits allowed. We'll see how the Firebirds play their defense here.
Pinch hitter for Cotuit. Comes to the plate. No longer Josh Pine. It's Ryan Galaney.
Galaney came in playing third base in a defensive replacement. Corners are in for the Firebirds.
Bases loaded, 1 out. Corners in, and the big 6'8", 255-pound Nate Ward delivers a first pitch strike with a big breaking ball that lands at 79 miles an hour in the zone for strike 1 looking. Ryan Galaney is first at bat of the night, replacing Josh Pine at 3rd, and he comes up in a big spot. Ward at the belt, deals the 0-1, another breaking ball, high, 1-1.
Corners are in. Penny and Olmsted will be throwing home, and the middle infielders are back in double play depth.
Bases loaded, 1 out. 0-0. Bottom of the 7th. Ball and a strike. Ward, the 1-1. Upstairs, ball 2.
Ward has to be so particular coming into such a jam. Bases loaded, 1 out, and he didn't do any of this. He needs the strikeout. He needs a ground ball to either of the infielders or maybe even a pop fly in the infield.
2 balls, 1 strike. Ward taking his time at the belt. Finally deals with 2-1 pitch, which is skied. Absolutely launched to left field, and Micheletti looks at it go by. Grand slam. Cotuit with 1 swing of the bat. First at-bat of the night for Ryan Galaney, and it's 4-0 Kets. Petrie, Waldschmidt, and Banks come home with Galaney.
Ward went to the slider just too many times. Last time out, he gave up a home run to James Tibbs on Brewster in the 8th inning of a 4-2 win. He comes in with bases loaded and makes a mistake. 1 too many sliders, and Galaney makes him pay. This game has been broken open.
Second home run of the summer for Ryan Galaney. A monster at Wofford, the SoCon Player of the Year with 17 home runs and 66 RBIs. A grand slam to left field, way over the head of Eddie Micheletti. Makes it 4-0 Cotuit, bottom 7. And back to the top of the order for Mike Roberts' crew, it's Brett Bateman. The lefty faces the righty Ward, and it's a ball and a strike. Foul ball towards the left field side, now 1-2.
Ian, it's really hard to blame Nate Ward. Of course, he's always going to say, I have to be better, I have to be better. But when you come into such a tough situation of bases loaded, 1 out, it's hard to be perfect every single time out.
Ward, the 1-2 pitch with the bases clear and 1 out. Ground ball towards Blake at short, charging towards the infield, throwing over to first, not in time. Things are breaking the way of Cotuit in the bottom of the 7th inning. An infield single for Brett Bateman, his 2nd hit of the game. Surprise, surprise, for the Minnesota Star, who leads the Cape League in batting average. Here comes Kalai Harrison, the shortstop, to the plate with 1 on, 1 out. 4-0 Kettleers, bottom 7 after a grand slam from Ryan Galaney. No balls and a strike. Ward deals to the lefty, gets a whiff. 1-1. It was domination from this pitching staff. 5 shutout from Dylan Jacobs, a scoreless frame from Jonathan Gonzalez in the 6th. Cam Leiter comes out of a bullpen. 3 straight reach, and Nate Ward gives up the grand slam to Galaney. No balls, 2 strikes. Fouled away from Kalai Harrison. 4-0 Cotuit. Trying to get back on track and pick up their 10th win of the season and continue its strong trend atop the West Division. Runner on first is Bateman with an infield single. Ward deals another foul ball past the snack shack and left, and still 0-2. Ward, you alluded to it, a great junior season with Grand Canyon. A 0.72 ERA in 25 innings pitched. Gave up just 2 earned runs. No balls, 2 strikes. Miss on the outside. Ball 1. Both those earned runs came off homers. But still, an impressive season for Ward at the collegiate level. 4-0 Kettleers, bottom 7. 1 on, 1 out. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Kalai Harrison. Ward deals. Ground ball to second. Oyama moving to his left. Fields it cleanly. Throws to Olmsted, 2 away. With a 4-3 putout. Sliding over to second is Brett Bateman. Another runner in scoring position for Cotuit.
Oyama read that play perfectly. He didn't have enough time to flip around and throw to second for the force out, especially with the speed of Bateman. So he takes the easy out, and with the runner on second and 2 outs, hopefully Ward can get through this one keeping it 4.
Here's Cannon Peebles, the designated hitter. 0 for 2 tonight, but walked his last time up in the 6th against Jonathan Gonzalez. Ward deals, and the righty lands one low and away to the NC State star, 0-1. 7 hits tonight, 4 runs to show for it for the Kettleers, the biggest just a couple minutes ago off the bat of Ryan Galaney, a grand slam. No balls in his strike. Here's the pitch. Cut on and missed. 0-2. Runner on second, Brett Bateman. An infield single that followed up the grand slam. Moved over to second on the ground out from Kalai Harrison. Ward, the 0-2 offering. Low and in, sliding to his right to keep the ball in front of him is Hunter. He does. Ball 1.
We talked about starting pitchers that have to come out of the bullpen. Of course, one of the best at it, Madison Bumgarner, for the San Francisco Giants when we're talking MLB. Some got it, and some don't. When the tensions are high versus starting the game, just a different animal.
1 ball, 2 strikes. 2 Peebles. Here's the pitch, fouled away. That's what's so impressive about what Sean Madsen's been able to do out of a bullpen. He's been fantastic as a closer over the last week for Orleans. He's not a bullpen guy at Harvard. So his mentality coming out of a bullpen has been great, and maybe a little unexpectedly so. 1 on, 2 out, 1 ball, 2 strikes. 4-0 Kettleers, bottom 7. Ward deals, breaking ball in for strike 3, looking. Peebles goes down with a backwards K. Nate Ward came in and was inherited with a tough situation. Cam Leiter loaded the bases. Ward faces Ryan Galaney, and he goes deep for a grand slam. 4-0 Kettleers. How does Orleans respond when we return on the Birds Broadcast Network in the top of the 8th? Top of the 8th from Lowell Park. Scoreless through 6.5, but not before a grand slam in the bottom of the 7th inning. From Ryan Galaney, it's now 4-0 Kettleers, new pitcher in the game. But before that, let's talk about the scores outside of Lowell Park tonight.
That's right, Ian. 2 games going on, 2 games about to start at 7 o'clock. For the ones that are going on, Brewster, the Whitecaps are at Wareham and down 2-0 to the Gatemen. And in Bourne at Dorn Park, 1-1 the score between the Braves, who are possibly the hottest team in the Cape Cod Baseball League, against the Harwich Mariners.
Those are your scores outside of town. Here, the 6-7 Firebirds trying to rally in the late stages against the 9-5 Kettleers. Due up is 7-8-9. It starts with the center fielder, Eddie King Jr., who faces Noah Ruin, the 6'4", 192-pound righty, who delivers a first pitch strike towards the knees of the right-handed King Jr. 0-1. Ruin, dominant at Tyler Junior College in Texas. He's transferring to Kansas State in the spring. Ruin, the 0-1, whips it in low for a ball. 1-1. Ruin was the Junior College D1 pitcher of the year for his region. 19 appearances, 44 innings pitched, a 0.82 ERA, a 0.69 whip. The 1-1 whipped in on the inside corner at 92 miles an hour. It misses. 2-1 to Eddie King, who had the first hit of the game for Orleans. A leadoff single in the 6th. 3 hits for the Birds, no runs to show for it. They trail 4-0, top 8. Ruin, the 2-1, waved at and missed. 2-2.
Ruin is a sidewinder. He really dips down and fires it and releases it from a low angle very close to the dirt. Hard to hit when it's coming at 92, especially from that angle.
Ruin, the 2-2, chopped over his head to the middle of the infield, scooped by the shortstop, who cannot collect it and couldn't make the play against the speedy Eddie King. Kalai Harrison was moving towards the right side of second base, unable to stop Eddie King, who now has multiple hits. His first multi-hit game as a Firebird. He owns 2 of the Firebirds' 4 knocks tonight in a 4-0 game in which they trail in the top of the 8th.
That's what Eddie King has to do, just get on base. And now with nobody out, let's see if the Firebirds can string something together.
Pinch hitter in the game, it's Jake Hyde, the rising senior from Georgetown, stepping in for Johnny Olmstead. He'll replace him at first base as well. And another pinch hitter on deck, too, and Owen Carpellotti, his Georgetown teammate, who will replace Henry Hunter behind the dish. Ruin checks in on Eddie King, who's already stolen a base tonight. Did so in the 6th inning. Did not come home to score. 1 on, nobody out. Ruin deals, and the lefty Hyde pops it foul behind the plate. 0-1.
Ian, last night, and you can go check it out on our YouTube channel at Orleans Firebirds, was our weekly burn podcast of the week. And my pick to click was the man up at the plate, Jake Hyde. I really think he's going to start to get hot and have some big hits for this team.
You look at Hyde's numbers on the season for Orleans, nothing spectacular. Had a good night last night, but had a monster junior season with the Hoyas. Check swing foul ball. 0-2 to the Connecticut native. Over 3 years in the Big East with Georgetown, over a .320 batting average, 32 doubles, 35 home runs, over 115 runs driven in. King on first. Nobody out. 4-0 Kettleers top 8. Ruin deals. Missing outside. 1-2 on the off-speed pitch for Claxon at 83 on the new bright and shiny scoreboard over in left center field from Lowell Park. King takes a good lead off first. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ruin deals. Misses outside again. This time with the fastball. Even count, 2-2 to Hyde, battling back.
Hyde had a good game last night. A double in that 9th inning where the Firebirds were threatening, and a sac fly in the 4th.
Trying to translate that into another matchup against a top team. It's a well-hit ball to left center field from Hyde. Arranging to his left, making the catch on the run is Ryan Waldschmidt. Good piece of hitting from Jake Hyde. But Ryan Waldschmidt read it all the way through and ahead of a wall, makes the catch in left center. 1 away. Eddie King still on first, top 8. 4-0 Kettleers. And another Georgetown Hoya comes up to the plate. It's no longer Henry Hunter, who struck out twice in his 2 at-bats. It's Owen Carpellotti, who was also great last night in Orleans' win on the road against Yarmouth Dennis. Ruin gives a long stare to Carp before sidewinding a pickoff attempt in the direction of Eddie King, who slides in headfirst to the bag and pops back up. Safe.
Carpellotti reached on an error and came around to score, and also had an RBI single in back-to-back innings in the 3rd and the 4th of last night's win.
Carpellotti with the gray batting gloves from the left side. Looks at a pitch, a strike on the outer half to the lefty. 0-1. The Michigan native heading into his junior season with the Hoyas, starting to turn things around from the plate over his last few with Orleans. 1 on, 1 out, and the 0-1 fouled right to the backstop. 0-2, 91-mile-an-hour fastball from the Kansas State commit, Noah Roon.
Firebirds are set up if they can get one more or even two more runners on. Getting their power bath coming up shortly.
Joe Oyama back to the top of the order. The UC Irvine product on deck. Ruin, another pickoff attempt and another head-first slide to the first base bag from Eddie King. No runs for Orleans through 7 1/3. Top of the 8th. 1 on, 1 out. 4-0 Kettleers. Thanks to a grand slam from Ryan Galaney in the bottom of the 7th. Off Nate Ward. No balls, 2 strikes. King on the move. Ball low of the zone, and Loma Vida had to block it up and was unable to make a throw to stop the speedy Eddie King. He's got 2 stolen bases. Came in tonight with none, but we knew he was going to get those eventually.
And an interesting pro-con move there. Pro as you get him in scoring position and stop the double play. But con, as if that was a good pitch and King was thrown out, can't get thrown out down 4. So it went the way of the Firebirds.
Ground ball hit strong through the 4-3 hole for a base hit from Carpellotti. Fesky waving home Eddie King. He slides in head first safely. It proves to be a smart decision from Eddie King. Stealing a bag and coming around to score his 7th run of the year. RBI single for Owen Carpellotti, and the Firebirds are on the board for the first time tonight, albeit still down 4-1, top 8.
You were right. Getting the runner in scoring position proves good. Carp with back-to-back RBI singles in back-to-back games, and Firebirds are right back into this one.
Came into the game only 3 for 23, but the bat's starting to get hot for Owen Carpellotti, who's on first. 1 on, 1 out. Noah Room pitching. And first pitch swinging is Joe Oyama. Grounder to first. Throw to second in time. Holding on to it is Kalai Harrison. Carpellotti forced out at second. Oyama reaches on a fielder's choice at first. And another pinch hitter comes into the game for Kelly Nicholson. Fenwick Trimble out. Jake Casey in. The rising junior from Kent State, a lefty bat, to face the righty Roon, compared to Trimble, who was also a righty.
Plays the matchup game, and now Casey looking to get on base and has that power in his bat as well.
4-1 game. Kettleers in the lead. Casey takes the ball. 81-mile-an-hour pitch, misses low.
And because of this move, the only man on the bench left is Drew Farreau on the active roster for the Firebirds.
Third pinch hitter. Jake Hyde, Owen Carpellotti, now Jake Casey. The 1-0 pitch. And it gets a piece of Casey. Checked swing, held up, in a bit of pain, but he's all right as he removes the shin guard and the elbow pad. Takes his free base. Second time Casey has worn a pitch this summer. Oyama moves to second. You mentioned power. The tying run comes to the plate. Eddie Micheletti, he's got 2 home runs on the year. First and second, 2 out. 4-1 game. Kettleers in the lead, top 8. And a lefty to face for righty Roon once again.
One swing away, the Firebirds from tying this game.
Ruin looks at second and deals. On the outer half, a strike on the first pitch. 0-1 to the George Washington star, currently in the transfer portal. He's put together a solid start to the summer, hitting over 280 for Orleans. Looking for another big hit. No balls in a strike. Here's the pitch. A line drive to left center field. It gets down for a base hit. Oyama on his way home. Throw on the way to the plate. Oyama slides in feet first. He's safe. Casey to second. Micheletti to first with an RBI single. And it's only a 2-run lead for the Kettleers. 4-2 the score, top 8. Eddie Micheletti gets it done again. A team high 8 runs driven in.
It's perfect hitting from Eddie. Goes the opposite way. You don't need the big swing, and then Oyama with a great slide. Gets his right foot on home plate before the tag. Firebirds are set up.
Andy Blake, the righty shortstop, comes to the plate with 2 on, 2 out and takes a ball. Miss outside from Maroon. 1-0.
Ian back in the 6th. Sammy Miller, our sideline reporter, came on and said the word of the day was resiliency. This is resiliency. You get punched in the mouth with a grand slam in the bottom of the 7th, 2 runs and counting for the Firebirds in the top of the 8th.
That's why we got Sammy. Ball and no strikes. Launch to left field. Andy Blake, a frozen rope. Jake Casey, he's on his horse. Throw on the way home. He slides in feet first, and he's tagged out. Casey can't believe it. He chucks his helmet aside. He's stunned. An excellent throw from Ryan Waldschmidt in left field. Loma Vida gets the tag out and ends the inning. Cotuit goes crazy.
You got to take chances when you're down, and I think that was a great send by hitting coach Max Vesky. It needed a perfect throw to get Casey at the plate, who dove, wanting his hand to get to the plate first. Didn't go the way of Jeff Merzell, who makes the call out. And the Firebirds, who put up 2, however, are robbed of a 3rd.
2 runs driven in the top of the 8th inning. The offense is coming alive on a cloudy night from Lowell Park. 4-2 the score. Cotuit still ahead, but only by half as much as it was after 8. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning now. We'll be right back. Quick break on a Birds Broadcast Network. Bottom of the 8th in a game that has been flipped on its head over the last inning. Grand slam from Ryan Galaney in the bottom of the 7th gave Cotuit the 4-0 lead. Orleans responding with a couple runs put on the board in the top of the 8th. And now in the bottom of the 8th, a new pitcher in the game trying to keep it a 2-run game. Dylan, it's Eric Orloff, the lefty from the U of A, Arizona.
Yes, and Orloff, who had a shaky first 2 appearances, came out and threw a big inning against Brewster in the 4-2 win just 5 days ago. So he's looking to keep it going. Comes from the left side, and also a few defensive replacements for the Firebirds here in the 8th after 3 pinch hitters in the top of the 8th. Carpellotti does the catching, Casey in right, and at first, Jake Hyde.
You got it down to a T. 3 pinch hitters, 3 defensive replacements, as Orloff deals a first pitch strike to the lefty, Caleb Mathis. Mathis, his second at bat since replacing Josh Pine in the order. Rather, Jacob Tobias. Orloff working quickly. Pulls up the glove, now with the belt. 0-1 pitch on the way. Big curve, and it clanks right off the back of Caleb Mathis. Hit by pitch. And a leadoff base runner for Cotuit. He trots over to Jake Hyde at first. 4-2 game, bottom 8, and a tough start for Eric Orloff, a Chicago native. He now faces Caleb Loma Vida. Back-to-back, Caleb's up. First pitch swinging, foul ball over the backstop. 0-1 to the Cal Berkeley man.
Orloff's job here is to keep it at 4-2 and give the Firebirds a chance to come back in the 9th inning. If he can keep this at a 2-run game, it's no holds barred in the 9th for the Birds.
The 0-1 pitch, Loma Vida showed bunt, pulled it back, pulled up the bat, and got the ball. 1-1 to the righty. Both teams with 7 hits tonight. Cotuit with 4 runs, Orleans with 2. Bottom of the 8th. 1 on, nobody out. 1 ball, 1 strike. Orloff, a lefty deals. This bunt popped past his glove. Orloff stumbles high, throws the first. Oyama covers the bag. Throw not in time. Loma Vita reaches. Sliding over to second is Mathis. 2 on with nobody out. In the bottom of the 8th for Cotuit, trying to add on to a 4-2 lead. That goes down as an infield single for Loma Vita. The bunt was fair. Past the right side of the mound. Orloff dove for it. Couldn't glove it. High tried to help him out. He threw it to second, or to first, covered by the second baseman, Joe Oyama, not in time. Showing bunt and pulling it back himself is Emilian Petrie. He gets ahead 1-0. The lefty does against the lefty Orloff. Waves a bat high above his left shoulder. Orloff looks at second, deals to 1-0, shows bunt again, it's foul. Drifts past the left side of the field.
It's the perfect opportunity for Cotuit to bunt. First and second, nobody out. They're looking for one more. They're looking for some insurance. 1-run lead, never safe. 2-run lead, you never know. 3 or 4, you can start to breathe a little bit lighter.
2 on, 1 out. Nobody out. 1 ball, 1 strike. Another bunt laid down. Another one foul. Up in the air and towards the door on the left side of a dugout behind the plate. 1-2. Runners on first and second. Orloff plunked Caleb Mathis and then let Caleb Loma Vita reach on an infield single. Trying to work out of a jam in his first inning of work in his 4th appearance as a Firebird. Loma Vita 1-2. Foul ball. We'll do it again. And there's a big noise. Not what you want to hear. A lot of kids run after that ball. Hopefully all the cars are intact.
I don't know if it was the cars. It might have been the grill over near the concession stands here in Cotuit.
Ball and 2 strikes. Orloff deals. Bunt showed again, but pulled back on a 2-strike count for ball 2.
Now that's an interesting move. Looking to continue to bunt with 2 strikes after 2 foul attempts. Risky.
Petrie willing to do anything to extend this 4-2 Cotuit lead in the bottom of the 8th. On the 2-2, launches it to center field. It drops in front of Eddie King for a hit. But the runner, Mathis, stays put at third. Mike Roberts says we'll leave it with another bases loaded situation because that's worked pretty well for us tonight. Flashback last inning, a grand slam off the bat of Ryan Galaney with the bases loaded. Now Eric Orloff has loaded the bases after a hit by pitch and back-to-back singles for Loma Vita and Petrie. Now Ryan Waldschmidt comes to the plate.
Orloff has been bit right here. A hit by pitch, a single, and now another single that just bloops in the center. Infield in for Orleans.
Bases juiced, nobody out. 4-2 Cotuit. Orloff deals to the lefty. First pitch swinging, opposite way, towards the foul line. Jake Casey, he makes the catch, tagging and racing towards home is Mathis. He scores as Carpellotti chases runners back all over the place. Carpellotti now throws to third. There's a rundown between second and third. And now applying the tag at second is Andy Blake. And retired is Caleb Loma Vita. Getting a little too overzealous on the base paths.
And look at Mike Roberts, the man who knows base running more than anybody. Not happy with that display, which does get Cotuit a run on the sac fly. Casey made a strong throw, but just a little bit offline. But a double play for Orleans, and now it goes from bases loaded, nobody out, to man on third, 2 out.
Wild sequence. It's now 5-2 Kettleers. The bottom of the 8th, Eric Orloff, breaking ball, misses outside to Teo Banks, the righty. 1-0. Again, it was a pop-up and a catch for Jake Casey and right. A sac fly in the books for Ryan Waldschmidt that scored Caleb Mathis. 1-0 pitch from Orloff. Opposite way and foul, 1-1. The throw was off to the left of home plate. Mathis scored easily. Carpellotti then just raced into the infield and chased down Loma Vida, tossed it to third. Penny ran him down, tossed it to short, and covering the bag at second, Andy Blake applied the tag for the second out of the inning. Runner on his way from first to second, a hit and run attempt, a foul ball to the right field side from Teo Banks, and Petre will return to first.
If you want the numbers on that play, I got them. 9-2-5-6 double play. Don't see those often.
From Casey to Carpellotti to Penny to Blake. Something new every day in the Cape Cod Baseball League. 1-on-2 out pickoff attempt from Orloff in the direction of Petre. 1-on-2 out, 1 ball, 2 strikes. 5-0, 5-2 Cotuit. Bottom of the 8th. Orloff deals. Swing and a foul tip. It gets by the glove of Carpellotti. Staying alive, Banks, who's reached twice tonight on a single in the second and a walk in the 7th. Bases were loaded with nobody out. And then the 9-2-5-6 double play, which ended up scoring a run for Cotuit with 2 outs on the board now. Pitch inside to Banks. Evens the count at 2-2. 6 scoreless innings to start this game for the Orleans pitching staff. Has surrendered 5 runs in the last 2 frames. The 2-2 pitch, breaking ball up and away to the lefty Banks. Count is full. Petre still on first after his single.
Orloff is trying to dominate the inside part of the zone to the righty.
The fans starting to chant on the full count offering. Doesn't affect Orloff. Gets the swing and miss from Teo Banks. And Petre stranded on first. Cotuit adds to the lead. A sac fly from Ryan Waldschmidt scores Caleb Mathis. 3 straight base runners reach on Eric Orloff. Bases were loaded, but only 1 run received for Cotuit. It's a 5-2 game. Orleans needs 3 runs or more in the top of the 9th inning if it wants to extend the game from Lowell Park. Find out if the Birds can do it when we return on the Birds Broadcast Network. Top of the 9th from Lowell Park. Dylan Pescatore and Ian Nicholas on the call here on the Birds Broadcast Network. Thanks so much for joining us. Orleans at 6-7 in danger of dropping back to 2 games below 500. Trailing 5-2 in the top of the 9th. Noah Ruin, who gave up a pair of runs last inning to Orleans, returns to the mound. And the righty transferring to Kansas State faces the meat of the order for the Birds. 5, 6, and 7. It starts with Jack Penny, the lefty, against the righty. Ruin deals and misses low, 1-0. Penny was able to provide a spark late in last night's game, a loss, or I should say a win, against YD in extra innings with a game-tying home run in the 8th inning, his first of the summer. Ball, no strikes. Here's the pitch. Penny lays off it, bobs his head up and down, likes what he sees, gets ahead 2-0.
All the Firebirds need is 1 base runner to bring up the tying, or 2 base runners, I should say, to bring up the tying run. And Penny was clutch last night, like you said, Ian.
5-2, Kettleers top 9. Ruin deals, chopped, foul down the first baseline from Penny at strike one.
I got to think, I mean, a lot of power now at the bottom of this order with the pinch hitters that came in with Jake Hyde and Owen Carpolati in the 8 and 9 hole. If they can get it there.
Matt Hallback on deck. Eddie King after him, who has 2 hits tonight in the hole. 2 balls and a strike to Penny. Ruin, set, kicks, deals, gets the whiff. Off-speed pitch in the dirt, gets the whiff out of Penny. It's even at 2-2. Seven hits tonight for Orleans. 2 runs came across the board against Ruin in the top of the 8th inning. Trailing by 3 runs in the top of the 9th. How do they respond? 2-2 fouled, and it ricochets off the dugout wall and is retrieved. Still 2-2.
Penny's got to keep fighting here, continue to have great at-bats like he's always had.
Ruin. Glove at the belt. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Big-time strikeout to set the tone in the top of a 9th inning. Penny goes down swinging. Base is empty, 1 out. 5-2 Cotuit in the top of the 9th from Lowell Park.
Ruin just so good. Coming from the low angle. It almost feels like the ball's rising because it starts at such a low release point.
Matt Hallback to the plate, righty on righty. First pitch swinging, drops it the opposite way in the gap for a base hit. Hallback shows off the wheels. He's racing towards second. He gets in there standing up. A 1-out double. Not dead just yet, Matt Hallback with the 8th hit of the night for Orleans. Trying to keep on churning in the top of the 9th inning.
Hallback has always been good at swinging to the opposite field. There was another one. Goes to right center and now sets it up. Firebirds need one more runner to get that tying run to the plate. And on deck, of course, is Jake Hyde.
Hallback welcomed back into the lineup. The UC San Diego product on second with Eddie King at the plate. And the righty looks at a first pitch strike from Noah Roon. King steps back in. He's got singles in each of his last 2 at-bats. Came into the night just 2 of 21. But the Louisville man having his most productive evening as a Firebird. The 0-1 pitch. Another strike on the inner half of the plate. 0-2 with 1 on and 1 out. Matt Hallback on second with the double. In the top of a 9th, Cotuit up 5-2. Roon headed into tonight in 7 innings pitched. Hadn't given up a run. The 0-2 gets the miss out of Eddie King. Second strikeout this inning for Ruin. Both King and Penny go down swinging. Orleans down to its final out, and it all comes down to the hand of a left-handed Jake Hyde.
Hyde, who took an at-bat in the 8th and had a great contact. A line out to left field. Great catch by Waldschmidt.
1 on, 2 out, 5-2 Kettleers, top 9. Ruin deals, swing and a foul tip into the glove of Loma Vida. Hyde goes down 0-1. An RBI single his last time up. Hyde behind 0-1. Here's the pitch. Fouled off the sidewall netting. Drifts into the backstop, or I should say into the dugout of the Kettleers. Orleans down to its final strike. In danger of falling to 6-8 on the young season. Just about a third of the way through in the Cape Cod Baseball League campaign. Kettleers oh so close to win number 10 in 16 tries. The 0-2 pitch, swung on and missed. Noah Roon strikes out the side after allowing 2 runs across the board in the 8th. Redemption in the 9th. Hallback stranded on second. The Kettleers take down the Firebirds for the 2nd time this season. 5-2 on a cloudy night from Lowell Park.
A performance that kind of was cut short. Those last 2 innings where it starts out good pitching-wise for both teams. Cameron Hill and Dylan Jacobs, both starters, were so good. And then when it got to the later innings, like the Harwich game, like last night against YD, and the last two where they've both been thrillers to the last pitch. It's the opposing team, Cotuit, who comes up big. The grand slam in the 7th. But then Orleans comes back. 2 runs in the 8th and possibly could have had a third. Jake Casey slid into home but was out. And then top 9, 1 more run for Cotuit, and that'll do it.
That does it. Orleans, who came into tonight winners of 4 of its last 5, does not take down the best team in the West, just like it took down the best team in the East last night. The last 2 innings provided some hope, Dylan. But the one thing tonight that hasn't been a problem for this team, usually the bullpen a little shaky after 6 great innings, 5 of them from the starter, Dylan Jacobs, Cam Leiter, Nate Ward, Eric Orloff, allowing those 5 runs to come across the board.
Yeah, I think, like you said, it was the first 2 pitchers who were great, Dylan Jacobs and Jonathan Gonzalez. Then it got to the back of the bullpen. And when you use 6 guys from the bullpen yesterday, you're not going to have your best of the best, everyone available today. They did not, and it was a little bit of, mix and match. Orloff came in, Ward came in, had to deal with bases loaded, and you also had Cam Leiter coming out of the bullpen for one of the first times in his entire career.
So overall, headed into tomorrow's matchup with Brewster on the road from Stony Brook, what's the one thing Orleans needs to get back to that you don't think it showed tonight? Was it more offensively or pitching?
So difficult to say because I think the offense once again had a good day. We talked about it on the podcast in the Weekly Burn.
Yeah.
There were a few guys on this roster that really haven't gotten going yet, and Eddie King and Jake Hyde. I think those guys are really starting to get going. Eddie King with 2 hits tonight. Then you had Owen Carpellotti with another RBI single, and it's just everyone kind of has their day. So I don't think this is bad loss at all. I think that the pitching, once again, for the most part, stood up to par. And tomorrow against Brewster, we've had their number. Or I should say the Firebirds have had their number so far this year. And hopefully the 3rd time with Evan Truitt on the mound, probability, come out victorious again.
Orleans with 2 wins last week against Brewster. We'll see if that game happens. Not great weather in the forecast tomorrow. A lot of rain expected. But if we have the game, it would be a 5 o'clock start from Brewster with a 4:45 scorching start here on the Birds Broadcast Network. 6.5 scoreless innings from Lowell Park tonight. A grand slam from Ryan Galaney to give Cotuit the lead 4-0. They held on the win 5-2. Before we close up shop on cooling down, got to thank our post-game sponsor, Mazzio Construction. Mazzio LLC worked hard to build a resume for itself. Let them put their knowledge, experience, and passion together to work for you. Their team is committed to exceed your expectations. New home, addition to existing home, renovation, they handle it all. They work close with their clients to make sure that all your needs are met. They are honest, on time with schedule, and passionate about what they do. Give them a call. Let them introduce you to their work, and let's see how they can help you. Mazzio Construction. Orleans drops to 6-8 on the season. Trying to rebound against an East Division foe tomorrow in Brewster. Follow our social media to make sure if that game happens. If it does, 5 o'clock right here on the Orleans Firebirds YouTube channel. Drop a like and subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. Cotuit improves to 10-5. Still atop the West Division. For Sammy Miller, Dylan Pescatore, the entirety of our crew, Ian Nicholas signing off from Lowell Park. Have a great rest of your evening. We'll see you tomorrow for more Firebirds baseball.